Wendy Bell Radio is live.
Hey. Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. We hit 75,000 followers on Rumble. I am so excited. I knew it was going to happen yesterday. I'm kind of blown away.
Yeah, we're way ahead of schedule.
Like, I'm really blown away by this. So I thought I would get my jacket, my favorite jacket. Because you guys vote every single day you come here, right? You have a choice. Remember, January 5th, we're moving. We're going to go to noon to 3 instead of 9 to noon. So if you're here and you're new and you're looking at me and you're like, where has this beautiful woman been all of my life? I know. Where have you been? Brock doesn't even want to have anything to do with that. Aw. Okay, so let's get out of the gates. First of all, thank you for that. That's just stupid. And
it is nice seeing that 75K there.
So we have a new objective. I'm going to have you guys weigh in on what the new goal is and what the time frame is, because this is your show too, so we might as well have you in on it. I know I got a lot of new people watching. Look, one of the things that we do on this program is we don't lie to you, and that means also our sponsors. So if we talk to you about a business, we're customers of that business, right? I'm a customer of Juvenon. This Blood Flow 7 thing has changed my world. And I've never really said that before, to be honest. Not a big supplement girl, not a big pill popper. I'm on no prescriptions. I didn't take nothing. I'm 55 years old, moderately healthy. I'm active, very active, and I started slowing down after 50. Definitely started slowing down. No. You don't slow down when you increase the blood flow in your body by 260% in 3 hours. That's what this does. And I have a challenge for you. If you want to see if you can believe me or not, I want you to go to bloodflow7.com/Wendy. I am that serious about it. Get a month. Okay? One of these is a month. It's like $30 with our promotion. And get back in touch with me. Okay? And then, if you think I'm full of it, you can never watch the show again if you so choose. But you're going to say, not only is she fabulous, she's got really great sponsors that make me feel good. You're welcome. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Out of the gates, I'm just going to drop it on you. Anyway, okay, so what's everybody saying? Let's hear. So what's our new goal, do you guys think? I think it should be 100,000, obviously. And I think I think we should get it by my birthday. 4/4/4/4. April 4th. You know how I like that. Hey, Black Lab Mama, what's going on? Hi, Griffin Lady. Hello, MCDD77 and Kathy. Good to see you, Kathy Shop. What's up, Jay Cycle and Duck Pup? Duck Pup. That seems to be a new name. Are you new? If you're new. Oh, look at JJ and Penny are here. Let's go. 100K by July 1st, Penny and JJ say.
Wow, they don't have much faith in you guys.
I think we can do it before that. I really do. I think we're on track to do it before that. What's going on, Slappy Loco? That's a new name. I love it. I am Sam. Hi. Hi, Terry, Hick, and Cher. Hi, Sherry. What's up, A Fusco? Demanda Trump. Trump in it. 17. Hey, Q-Fish. Hey, Plaz. Aw, thank you, Joe Pilot. Thank you for that. Appreciate you. Hi, Bo Bolin. Hi, Andrew. Hey, Razorback. Lori and Ruth. Tiedman and DeMott's. Good to see you guys. Quantum Chrono. And then it's something else. Hi. We're excited you guys are here. I have kind of a critical hair issue going on today, but how's that different than any other day? I don't know. It's good to be with you. We're going to start with a little, today's show is very deeply connected. It's connected. Great replacement. Who do you guys think is being replaced? I'll give you one guess. Yeah, I'll give you one guess. It'd be you. Good morning, Bo. It's good to see you. Right? It's curious when you get to see it all, too. All right. Let's get going. We got 4,000 people watching. So excited that you're here. welcome. Let's kick some arse. Let's have a great Friday show. You guys hang out for a while. I love you. I mean that sincerely. And we got to go through the bag that JJ and Penny got you.
Yeah.
I left mine at home like a dingbat. I got good neighbors. I got a wacky neighborhood, but I got a couple good neighbors.
They ain't Bob.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane,
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back, not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at you.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we're converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Well, hello, America. Greetings to all of you across the beautiful fruited plain. Welcome home to the Wendy Bell radio program, Friday edition. Gotta love Fridays. We got a packed show for you. There's all sorts of stuff going on. And, you know, it's very weird because sometimes in the morning I sit down, I don't know a thing that we're going to be talking about today. And everything kind of seems disjointed, and I start plugging it into the rundown. And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute, there's a theme. And the theme today is you are being replaced. And I'm going to be here today to fight for you. And we're going to share what we mean on this program, wendybellradio.com, how you follow along, live video stream, all 3 hours. I hope you do. I hope you come back. I hope you enjoy what you hear. And you realize that it's just not that complicated to tell the truth. Welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. You know, all of the stories that we're hearing right now, all of this push for everything free for illegal aliens, every advantage, every break, every offer. I wonder if they know that they're actually being preyed upon by the Democratic Party and the deep state. Do you think they know? You know, they were enticed. The border opened up and somebody said, come on in. Come on in. But it was so much more than that because you needed your non-governmental organizations, your NGOs. By the way, the Catholic Church played a role in this. Come on in. We'll make your landing soft. We're going to give you this prepaid gift card, Visa card. You go do what you want. We'll put maybe $5,000, $10,000 on it. We'll put you up in a nice place. Hook you up with all the things you need. Find a job for you. All you have to do is what we ask. And that is to get a social security number, driver's license, do whatever the hell you need to do to get on the voter rolls and to help us replace these pesky Americans who want their country the way it was founded, who love freedom and family and, yes, God. And isn't it wild when you see the U.S. bishops coming out and putting together a little public service announcement? Isn't that weird? Does that seem weird? Because it seems weird to me that we've got bishops, we've got people in the Catholic Church, high up in the Catholic Church, finger wagging us, telling us, you know what? You should be more godlike. You should be more Christ-like. You should be more open and loving and give dignity to these millions of strangers who have no intention of assimilating with your culture. Right? And it struck me as odd this morning because I'd seen it a couple days ago, this video, and I wanted to extract a couple little snippets for you just so you can see this whole idea, global compact on migration. You got to have a bunch of people, muckety-mucks, really wealthy people pulling the levers And you got to get the church involved, right? Because, they're totally on the up and up. Not. And you have to, in some capacity, put out this campaign to the American people and everybody else around the world that in order to be inclusive and loving and kind and give dignity to other people, we've got to open up our doors, welcome people to our shores, and fall at their feet and do whatever we can to make them happy, which is a load of garbage, of course. And you know this, and I know this. But you know who doesn't know this? That white, college-educated, liberal woman. And sadly, there are a lot of them. This is that cohort. Take out the college-educated, just keep white, female, liberal, and crazy, right? 40% of them were like, I don't like this country anymore. I think I want to go somewhere else. And we're all like, see you later, right? This young population of women has been groomed. They have been guilted. They have been conned. They have been told their whiteness is this tremendous privilege for which they should feel guilt and shame. And the only way to have any kind of respect is to do whatever you can to fight for the immigrants. And if that means, by golly, you're going to get your soccer mom, suburban women, chick friends, and you're going to go to the ICE facility and you're going to stay just sit in for the fight, that's what you're going to do. It's crazy. But it's demonstrable. It's understandable when you think of it in that context. Guilt and shame. Look at what you have. Don't you have enough? Don't you think it's time for other people to have something too? And why would you ever want to get in the way? You're a horrible person. In fact, you're probably racist. Listen to the bishops now. Finger wag. This was a 4.5-minute public service announcement, if you will, from United States Catholic bishops. Audio soundbite number 1. This guy says, you know what? We men of the cloth, we're going to guilt you into celebrating what you know is wrong, which is called wide open borders. Here we go.
As pastors, we, the bishops of the United States, are bound to our people by ties of communion and compassion in our Lord Jesus Christ. And we are disturbed when we see among our people a climate of fear and anxiety around questions of profiling and immigration enforcement.
We are saddened by the state of contemporary debate and the vilification of immigrants.
Wow. Nobody's vilifying anyone. And I know you guys are men of the cloth, and I respect your chosen vocation. It's important. But I'm going to go with, y'all have no room to be telling everybody else how to be moral. Okay? You guys are embroiled in the biggest scandal before we knew how pervasive child sex trafficking was in this country and around the world, and how it's all kind of connected. I'm not so sure these bishops ought to be standing on high, waving their magic wand and telling you it distresses them as one step closer to God than you. And they're watching you vilify these strangers. You know what? We're not vilifying. We just don't want to be murdered. We don't want to get crashed into by somebody who got a driver's license, who's never driven a car, who's drunk, because that's a pervasive problem. We don't need their children overrunning our schools, and we're paying for that. We want our streets to be safe. We want our laws to be followed. And by the way, we want our social services to go to American citizens in need, not the world's helpless and hopeless. Bishop number 2, here we go to this guy. He says, we hurt over illegals living in fear of being snatched off the street or separated from their families. This madness has to stop.
We are grieved when we meet parents who fear being detained when taking their children to school, or when we try to console family members who have already been separated from their loved ones.
Do you know what we're aggrieved by, Father? By people breaking the law to come into our country and to not follow the rules, and to be given extra, and to replace our sons and daughters. Bishop, that's what aggrieves me. See, because if you don't break the law to get into our country, then you don't have to be worried about getting snatched off the street. You don't have to worry about being separated from your family because you didn't do what needed to be done for that to happen. It's kind of weird how that works, right? And finally, here's this bishop. He says, we love our immigrants, and God, he's speaking to us. He wants us to give them dignity.
Despite obstacles and prejudices, generations of immigrants have made enormous contributions to the well-being of our nation. We as Catholic bishops love our country and pray for its peace and prosperity.
For this very reason, we feel compelled now in this environment to raise our voices in defense of God-given human dignity.
Catholic teaching exhorts nations to recognize the fundamental dignity of all persons, including immigrants. We bishops advocate for a meaningful reform of our nation's immigration laws and procedures.
We call for meaningful reform of the Catholic Church. I'd like to see how many of the priests, pedophile priests who molested children, have been prosecuted, persecuted, and basically punished. Where's that list? Or are we just moving people around in that global shell game that nobody plays better than the church? Look, I believe in God. And for a long time, I very much enjoyed Mass. And then some things didn't register with me, and I couldn't reconcile that. In my mind, I made a choice. You make yours. But listen carefully to what they're saying. If you don't open your doors to strangers and give them whatever you've got, you're a bad person. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what the liberal woman believes. I believe that message has caused her downward spiral. We're going to prove it throughout the course of today's program. Don't go anywhere, because when we come back, the warning shot fired. Guess how many babies are born to foreign mothers now in Canada? Why do you care? Oh, you care. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
Can I just say, maybe when the Catholic Church starts paying taxes, and
you can finger wag.
You can finger wag till you pay federal tax, till you pay property tax.
Huh?
I don't want to hear it.
I don't want to hear it.
I don't want to hear it.
I don't want to hear it until we find out that every pedophile priest has been prosecuted, rather.
Oh, they'll be persecuted.
Well, let's hope so. Let's hope so. Let's hope that inferno, they've got plenty of wood for the fire. Right? Look, I'm a flawed person, wholly flawed. I'm not raping children and then going out and trying to finger wag people. Am I saying that these gentlemen did? I don't know anything about them. But the institution has been so ridiculously and absurdly tarnished, not because of the faithful, but because of them.
You know what I questioned as a kid? The fact that they send kids home from Sunday school with envelopes to put money in. Because my question was, why do I have to give money to God? As a young kid, and, you know, my mom was great. She's,
it's what good people do.
To support the church, to support the charity, you know, but it just seemed odd to me. And they don't pay taxes. And anything they give is your money anyways. And
how connected to everything at the southern border have they been? Do I have time or no?
Yeah.
I want to tell you quickly about, let me tell you about Genucel. Genucel, this is the brand that I use. I don't know if we've got the video, if I want to punt and do that later. But time is running out on the early Thanksgiving sale from our friends at Genucel. Don't wait to go to Genucel.com, get their brand new neckline lift. It's in their essentials package for over 70% off. Look, this is my skincare regimen. I wouldn't talk to you about it if it wasn't. Get rid of the turkey neck, the sagging neckline, and get compliments around the dinner table. And when you order today, Genucel is going to include their immediate effects for results you can see in minutes. It's not hours, it's minutes, plus the top-selling Genucel Deep Firming Vitamin C Serum. I put it here. You'll give thanks this holiday for 10 years off your appearance or 100% of your money back. Seriously, that's what they say, 100%. Genucell.com/Wendy. From now until Thanksgiving, you're going to get their brand new, the massager with the red light therapy to amplify your results. Give me 5. Shipping is also free. Use my code at checkout, Wendy, and you'll get an extra 10% off. It's already 70% off. They're going to give you an extra 10, 100% money back guarantee, free red light massager. Other than that and free shipping, I got nothing.
Give me 5.
Give me 5 in case you run out later. I need them. I need them. How's everybody? 6,000. All right, let's go. Wow, we're killing it on X. 400. Let's go, X.
Let's go, Rumble.
Let's go. This story is just like,
This is crazy.
It is crazy. Where are you? Are you in India? Are you in China? Are you in Guatemala? I don't know. Big melting pot going on to our north, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. Look, I believe that there are wonderful migrants in our communities right now. And I believe a lot of these people came over and they followed the rules, and it's an arduous task, and it's expensive, and it takes time, and it's a process. But it's that way for a reason. It's not free admission just cause a couple guys with, collars tell you so. And all you need to do to see the effects of migration, rampant, unfettered, unabated migration, is to look at Canada. Guess how many babies are born to foreign mothers now in Canada? It's outrageous. 42.3% of babies born in Canada are babies born to foreign-born mothers. It ain't just Canada. Who is the best friend of Canada now all of a sudden? The UK. They've got the same foreign-born birth rate. It's almost like right before your very eyes. Poof. Great replacement. It's hard to believe, but it appears to be correct. Last year, 42.3% of babies born in Canada were born to a foreign-born mother. As in Europe and the UK and the US, globalists are successfully replacing us. That's the theme today, guys. The goal is, 1, to drain you dry, get all your cash, of course, because they need that. And then basically to render you irrelevant, kick you to the curb and replace you with somebody else who's probably a lot cheaper than you are to do what you do. 42.3%. Up from 22.5% in 1997. There's a gentleman in Canada. He is a podcaster. He's an influencer. His name is Max Genist. And he had his podcast, and he was like, do you guys see what's going on here? Look at the birth rates in the foreign births in Canada. It is, without equivocation, the great replacement before your very eyes.
Statistics Canada just dropped the numbers that proves the Great Replacement theory is not a theory. In 1997, only 1 in 5 babies had a foreign-born mother. Fast forward to 2024, over 40%. That is not immigration. That is replacement. That is white genocide. Deliberate, government-sanctioned white genocide. Without these foreign births, the total number of births in Canada would have collapsed since 2010. The numbers do not lie. The only thing keeping the population afloat is a systemic importation of people who did not build this country, who did not bleed for this country, who did not bury their sons under this flag. They are replacing us. They are erasing us. They are genociding the very people who made Canada what it is.
So now he's going to dig into this whole idea that I nibbled on in the monologue, this whole idea of some kind of shame. And I think this is where your exceedingly triggered reaction by the liberal woman in particular comes into play. It's like she's been groomed to believe, if she's white, she's got some advantage, unfair advantage. And she, I guess, picks up that guilt ball that a lot of others can walk by. But the liberal, particularly white woman, grabs it, makes it her destiny, and does everything she can to prove I'm not privileged, I'm not advantaged, I'm not supreme. And this whole mindset of crazy town starts to take root. And this is what's happened in Canada. Listen.
And it's not just happening in the maternity wards, it's happening in our culture. Our birth rates are stagnant, white birth rates, because the culture has turned against us. We're told abortion is birth control. We're told women should not settle down, shouldn't start families, shouldn't need a man, be independent, live alone, chase the career, die childless. That's the message drilled into our heads. From every screen, every classroom, every billboard. This is destruction. This is propaganda designed to destroy us. And the worst part, it's working only on us. Have you noticed that? This poison does not work on anyone else. Brown people, black people, immigrant communities, they're not buying the lie. They're having families, they're building communities, they're growing. While we're told to shrink, to apologize, to disappear. We are the only ones being told our culture is toxic, our history is shameful, our future is optional. We're the only ones being replaced in our own homeland.
100%. 100%. Do you see how it's all connected? We talked about that earlier in the week. All of these stories that are popping up that seem kind of disconnected, they're all connected. They're all in the same solar system. They just haven't all hit the same orbit. Did you know that in the UK, approximately 40.4% of babies born last year had a foreign-born parent, had at least one foreign-born parent? This is an epidemic. You are being replaced. And the indoctrination in colleges, it's got to be college. It's got to be education. It's got to be where they get their talons into the soft, squishy flesh of the impressionable young mind. And then beat like a drum the message. Shame on you. Shame on you. You're white. You need to give back. And they've created a generation of clone troopers that is now out there activated. The homing chips are lit up. And these people are out there doing crazy things, assassinating men who simply want to talk, firing at ICE agents with bullets that they've scribbled messages into. Oh, we have a crisis, all right, in this country. Just maybe not the one we all think. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, where are we going to go? Russia and Ukraine. Are we still talking about that? Yeah, we are. Because Trump is about to end that. Make it 9 in 10 months. You want to do that? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. It's got to be that shame and guilt. And so for you to, as a woman, overcome that, you've got to make your do-goodery the fiber of who you are. It is your DNA. It's not your genes. It's your everything to prove that you're not racist, that you're not advantaged, that you're not a bad person. Or you could just be like everybody else and say, how about that? I've got one for you. How about that? That works for me. You can go suck it. Anywho, I'm about to be sucking down. One of my favorite things to do. Look, I talk about 3 health products on this show. This is number 2. I drink it every day. MCT Wellness. Dr. Gundry lost 70 pounds. 70 pounds. Drinking a scoop of this in water every day. How? Why? What does it do? Is it magic? No. It's based on science, actual science. And if you go to thehealthyfat.com, thehealthyfat.com/Wendy, you're going to see the video. And the video walks you through this wonderful process of all these foods that you think are fantastic for you. You're like, yeah, I eat that all the time. I love kale. And then he's like, yeah, you probably shouldn't eat that. And he tells you why, right? This is a dietary supplement. So you're not going to be hungry when you drink it. I have it in here every day, right? I don't eat lunch most days. I'm not hungry. So I'll start drinking this at about 10, and I won't be hungry until 3:30. Do you think you can lose weight by drinking something instead of going out and eating a burger and fries? Yeah, that's what it does. It helps you, and it helps, let's see, supports brain health, supports the production of ketones for more energy, right? And it's that natural, slow, but steady weight loss. thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. We've gotten some really great reviews from people. Look, I don't drink it to lose weight per se, but I don't need to be eating some of the junk that I'm eating. And it absolutely takes the bite off of those cravings in the afternoon where you're like, oh my God, I have to have some Bugles.
Dots.
Give me a bag of Dots. Give me Bugles. Give me something salty.
Wayne's here. So Wayne, they might be pushing you out is
Yes.
what I'm hearing.
Yes. Well, he's been keenly aware of this. He can also chime in about the MAID, the medical
assisted suicide.
Right? That's just gross. I think they've already last year, what was it, Wayne? It was more than 10,000 people.
Oh yeah.
More than 10,000 people who chose to end it all. Like, you're a little behind on your mortgage. Don't get on a payment plan. Don't get a second job. Just take this pill. It'll make it all better. And then you're like, medical
cure the housing
assistance,
crisis.
medical assistance in dying. And they wrap it up in an acronym to make it sound like it's helpful, like it's charitable. Thanks, guys, for helping mom knock herself off, said no one. Remember when Jack Kevorkian was the Dr. Doom of death?
Yeah. Organ.
Right?
That was just assisted.
What did I say, Dr. Jack?
That's his name.
Jack Kevorkian. Yeah. I'm telling you what, people were like, can you believe him?
You know, the way you could understand that is anyone who's watched someone go through hospice. Yeah, you're saying like the last 2 weeks, you don't want to watch your loved one do that.
No.
If you can help, I understand that, but not because someone had a bad year.
Yeah.
You know,
like I'm watching my mom and the protocol of watching my mom who is not coming back to us. And so it's cranking up morphine so that she can ultimately die. And it took 4 days. And it's torture. It's torture. There've got to be better ways to do things.
90,000 terminated so far.
Wait, what?
That's what Wayne said. I think it. Wayne, am I reading that wrong?
What? Can you imagine that? Just throw in the towel. Just throw in the towel. Don't worry about it. We all understand. Your back hurts and you don't think that you're going to be able to see because of your medical system. You're not going to be able to see somebody soon enough.
You wonder.
Just end it.
You wonder these people have no friends, no family that are saying, hey, it's not that bad. Give it some time.
Listen to the messages out there, though. It's scary.
Yeah.
Scary. What else? It's been a long week, guys. It's felt like a long week, hasn't it? Kind of felt like a long week. Are you guys killing the rumbles? You are. Look at you go. I was even ready to criticize.
You? What? No. Let me show you my shocked face.
That's not very friendly. Okay, so we've got a lot of wild topics to discuss today. I don't think these are going to be topics that are on a lot of people's go lists. But, you know, if Trump can figure out this Russia-Ukraine thing, and it sure helps that Ukraine is in the midst of some huge political scandal right now. And you know they just want to get done. But Zelensky, part of this deal is that there have to be elections in 100 days. So he can't continue jailing his political opponents, silencing the media, imprisoning people who don't, propagandize what he... Well, welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. We talked earlier this week about all of the smoke screens, all of the stories we were supposed to be talking about, how briefly those stories last. Lets you know what they're really all about. It's about anything to take a hit at Donald Trump. We all know this, right? It's all they have. Democrats don't have ideas. They don't fix problems. They make them. And then when things get so bad, right, they start talking about them. Of course, they have to blame Donald Trump or Republicans, but it's never about, here's what we think we should do. There's never a fix. It's always about growing government, spending more money, right, and creating more rules and regulations that necessitate more rules and regulations that end up costing you. That's what it is, right? And so the only thing that they have right now is resisting Donald Trump. Well, Donald Trump, while all these smoke screens are going on, the ballroom, remember, it's a ballroom. I can't believe it. He's probably going to eat lobster in there while people are on the streets. And it's like, shut up, okay? The building is necessary. It's being handled. Nobody's paying for it. Not you. Put a sock in it. Smoke screen. If Donald Trump can fix this thing with Zelensky and Putin, how does the guy lose? How does the GOP lose? How does the message going forward become? You know what? But I really liked it so much better when Democrats were in office. It was just easier, right? Everybody hated each other. Of course. So this is the big breaking news. Donald Trump's 28-point plan has apparently landed on Zelensky's desk. And he's looking at it. He's got his Sharpie. And he's getting it ready, and this is what we know about it. This is on therightscoop.com. Big breaking, they say. Ukraine-Russia peace plan revealed it is guaranteed by President Trump. Guaranteed. That is a very interesting thing to put on this. President Trump's peace plan, which has been delivered to Ukraine and Russia, has just been revealed by Axios. And it has 28 different points. A quick overview is that Ukraine will have to cede territory to Russia and be restricted from joining NATO. They're also going to have to agree to be a non-nuclear state. They'll have to hold elections within 100 days, and they will get enforceable security guarantees directly from the United States. Russia must relinquish territories outside of the 5 that Ukraine will cede. They'll have to agree to invade. They will have to agree to not invade neighboring countries and must, quote, enshrine in law its policy of non-aggression towards Europe and Ukraine. The treaty will be monitored and guaranteed by the Peace Council, which is headed by President Donald J. Trump. So there's a lot more detail. And so I want to read you a little bit about this. Look. For whatever the reason was that Putin ordered his troops to invade Ukraine, and it's not just one thing or another. He wanted to know about the biolabs. Putin has spoken about child trafficking. He's spoken about Nazis. And he had all of those things to say in relation to Ukraine. Now, why? I don't know. But I guarantee you that why these countries are at war has very little to do with the reason the media tells you. Let's go through the plan. Number 1, Ukraine's sovereignty will be confirmed. 2, a comprehensive non-aggression agreement will be concluded with Russia, Ukraine, and Europe. All ambiguities of the last 30 years will be considered settled. That's an interesting thing to put in there. All that other mumbo jumbo that y'all have been fighting about, worrying about, we're going to scratch that, okay? We're going to take our Etch-a-Sketch and we're going to shake it and we're going to erase all of the doodles that we did before. This is a clean slate. Yes or no, you want to be part of the clean slate, because if you want to hold on to the past, this is not what this plan is all about. Number 3, it's expected that Russia will not invade neighboring countries and NATO will not expand further. It's a big one. Number 4, dialogue will be held between Russia and NATO, mediated by the United States to resolve all security issues and create conditions for de-escalation in order to ensure global security and increase opportunities for cooperation and future economic development. This is Trump. This is Trump, art of the deal. This is what he's doing. I'm going to give you the opportunity to make money. I'm going to give you the opportunity to get out of this deal without losing more money. We're going to guarantee future economic endeavors. The United States is going to have a seat at that table. And this is my word. Can you see Joe Biden doing that? Can you see Joe Biden doing anything? Number 5, Ukraine will receive reliable security guarantees. A U.S. official apparently telling Axios it would be an explicit security guarantee for Ukraine from the United States. Hey, Trump is saying to Ukraine, look, here's your extra. If anybody wants to fiddle with you, they'll be fiddling with the United States military. Do you hear us? It's a pretty big guarantee. Number 7, number 6, the size of the Ukrainian armed forces will be limited. They're going to have to shrink down to 600,000. Ukraine agrees to enshrine in its constitution that it will not join NATO. We're not going to go back. We're not going to go back. We're not going to restart. We're not going to rekindle those lost flames, right? Putin never wanted you to join NATO. It's all you've seemed to want to do at the beginning. Done. Sign on the dotted line. This is huge. NATO agrees not to station troops in Ukraine. European fighter jets will be stationed in Poland. Hey, look, we're nearby. We're like the USS Gerald Ford, which is parked on the front doorstep of Venezuela. And it's saying, hey ho, President Maduro, how you doing, bud? See, we're done with your drugs. And if you're not done with the drugs, well, you're going to have to FAFO. You wanna? I'm going to go with no, I don't. The U.S. will guarantee, and this is important for you and for me, the U.S. will receive compensation for this guarantee. If Ukraine invades Russia, it will lose the guarantee. If Russia invades Ukraine, in addition to decisive coordinated military response, all global sanctions will be reinstated, recognition of the new territory, and all other benefits of this deal will be revoked. Don't fiddle with us. I'm here to tell you, I'll oversee it, says President Trump. But if you want to put your toe over that red line, I'm not so sure you're going to want to like the results. If Ukraine launches a missile at Moscow or St. Petersburg without cause, the security guarantee will be deemed invalid, meaning U.S. troops aren't going to be anywhere near protecting you. Good luck with that. Ukraine is eligible for EU membership and will receive short-term preferential access to the European market while this issue is being considered. Come on over. We want you to be able to sell your things. We want you to be able to trade. We want you to be able to make money and recreate your country, which has been bombed into oblivion. A powerful global package of measures to rebuild Ukraine, including but not limited to, and it lists all these things. The U.S. will cooperate with Ukraine to jointly rebuild, redevelop, modernize, and operate Ukraine's gas infrastructure, including pipelines and storage facilities. Those will be jobs, and those jobs will come. Joint efforts to rehabilitate the war-affected areas for the restoration, reconstruction, and modernization of cities and residential areas. Trump is looking at these countries the way he's looking at Gaza. And he's looking at it as a developer. Look, I can't change what happened, he says. I can't change that history has been obliterated, that you've buried hundreds of thousands of your next generation of fathers. But we can help you clean up the rubble. We can help you build the infrastructure. And we can help you give your children, maybe, the promise of a better tomorrow. That is classic Trump. Peace through strength. Russia will be reintegrated into the global economy. The lifting of sanctions will be discussed and agreed upon in stages and on a case-by-case basis. Interesting. The United States will enter in a long-term economic cooperation agreement for mutual development in the areas of energy, natural resources, infrastructure, artificial intelligence, data centers, rare earth metal extraction projects in the Arctic, and other mutually beneficial corporate opportunities. And on top of that, he's advancing American interests. He's seeing what is around the bend. And he's saying to Russia, we can help each other. I'm not going to bomb you. You're not going to bomb me. Let's go and actually create something together. Russia will be invited to rejoin the G8. Frozen funds will be used as followed. 100 billion in frozen Russian assets will be invested in US-led efforts to rebuild and invest Ukraine. This is crazy. This is only Trump. You're going to have money that you're going to invest through us to better them. And then everybody in this circle is going to do, it's nuts. The remainder of the frozen Russian funds will be invested in a separate U.S.-Russian investment vehicle that will implement joint projects in specific areas. A joint American-Russian working group on security issues will be established. Russia will enshrine in its law a policy of non-aggression towards Europe and Ukraine. The U.S. and Russia will agree to extend the validity of treaties on the non-proliferation and the control of nuclear weapons. He's telling Putin, look, I see you. You're a global leader. You're a world power. You deserve a seat at the table. You got to earn it. We got to trust you. We're not going to continue to do things, and neither are you. There's a nuclear power plant that's going to be launched under the supervision of the IAEA, and the electricity produced will be distributed equally between Russia and Ukraine. What didn't he think about? Both countries undertake to implement educational programs in school and society aimed at promoting understanding and tolerance of different cultures and eliminating racism and prejudice. Like, what did anybody not get? Oh, you can't join NATO and you've got to give up a little bit of land. But we're going to give you a seat at the table. We're going to give you the golden chalice of opportunity. It's called the golden age. And Donald Trump is saying to Vladimir Putin and to Zelensky, you either want to sit at this table and you want to be relevant again and you want to prosper beyond your wildest imagination and you want to do it for the good of your people, or you don't. And if you don't, best wishes. We're going back home. Oh my. I voted for that. How about you? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, JD Vance says something very interesting. You know how that whole shutdown, the Schumer shutdown, ostensibly was about health care and Obamacare. Oh my God, the subsidies are going to expire. You're heartless. Well, we found out something a little inside baseball. Didn't know this about all that. I'm going to drop it on you next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
I like how he's doing it peace through economic strength.
Absolutely. We're not building up your military. In fact, you're going to shrink your military. Your military is going to shrink now to 600,000 people if you've got them. I don't know if you've got them. Right? And if anybody fiddles with you, I'm here. Now, see, baked into all of this is something that nobody else has. Trust. Trust. Does Vladimir Zelensky trust Donald Trump's word? He's done 8 other peace deals. Does Vladimir Putin trust what Donald Trump says?
I think he does.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Game changer. All right, Texas Bullion Exchange. You want to talk about a game changer? Look, and you think about gold and silver and you're like, that's only for the rich people. And I get it. But you've been working. How many years of your life have you been working? You've got retirement monies. You've got money invested in the markets, right? Why not invest in gold and silver? It's not complicated. And it's kind of exciting. I've learned so much. I've learned historically about the value of gold. Where is the gold? What happened to the value of the dollar, right? Where did all that go sideways? And what has been the result? Well, a lot of people have all their money in the stock market if they have money. Other people are like, well, I think I'm going to try to diversify because that makes a good idea. I did. Joe and I did. So I'm not just, working with them. They're not just a client of mine. To talk about Texas Bullion Exchange, wendylovesgold.com. I'm a client. My family is. 855-927-5557. I love them. Principal protection guaranteed. You spend money, you buy gold and silver, you need to sell it back at some date, you'll never get less than what you bought it for. Who else does that? I've never heard of it. And they'll also throw up to something like nutty, like $21,000 worth of silver, depending on your ultimate investment. Just for you. 855-927-5557, wendylovesgold.com. Wendy loves gold and silver. You know, I've got a couple $100 of silver right here. Just four coins.
I need to put tires on my car. I wouldn't be waving them around too much.
Oh, that's funny. I'm glad that we went over that plan because, wait, there's still more parts. I want to see. Let's see. Right. He's talking about now instead of bombing each other, you're gonna have discussions in the future as neighbors, as European neighbors, with diplomacy. You're gonna talk about it. You're not gonna bomb about it. You're not gonna invade about it. Enough with the wars. Enough with people dying. We have a population issue in this country, in this world anyway.
Did you see what was in the package from JJ and Penny?
I have not opened mine. I wanted to see your joy and delight.
Remember we had that sandwich?
Chimichurri. Chimichurri is my favorite. It's the best.
And
so our friend,
thank you to JJ and Penny because they send gluten-free stuff.
Our friend JJ is a pilot and he flies all over the world. And he and Penny put together these. Penny's got to be the brains of the operation because, sorry,
of course,
JJ.
Of course. I mean, all JJ does is fly around.
I'm not so sure he's putting in like tissue paper that's pretty and wrapping it all up for you. So they're just little packets of flavors and foods and spices and creams and things from around the world where he travels. I got a terrible towel from the Coliseum. So. Well, welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio program. We're going to talk about J.D. Vance in a moment, but I want to read you the last part of this 28-point peace plan that apparently Zelensky and Putin are ready to sign. This is Trump's plan. It's got his signature all over, and the signature of the art of the deal is that nobody walks out ashamed. Nobody walks out feeling like they got taken for a ride. Nobody walks out feeling like the other side won. We're going to sweeten all pots and we're going to cross over, right? We're going to cross over so that middle spot, everybody gets to benefit. Perfect. So this is it. After agreeing on future territorial arrangements, both the Russian Federation and Ukraine undertake not to change these arrangements by force. Let's use diplomacy, right? Russia will not prevent Ukraine from using the river for commercial activities, and agreements will be reached on the free transport of grain across the Black Sea. It's the breadbasket Ukraine is. Let's not try to squeeze them. Goes into all of the ideas about the territories. It says all Nazi ideology and activities, interesting, must be rejected and prohibited. Isn't that interesting? And then Ukraine has to agree to hold elections in 100 days. That kind of screws Zelensky. That means he's on the way out. He realizes he's sayonara, should be, because he's the guy who held up all the elections. State of emergency, right? Imprisoned his political opponents, media members who didn't share what he wanted them to share. And now, of course, Ukraine is embroiled in its own political drama and scandal. And Russia is similarly complicated, right? So there we go. The final thing, once all parties agree to this memorandum, the ceasefire will take effect immediately after both sides retreat to agreed upon points to begin implementation of the agreement. And he says this agreement will be legally binding. Its implementation will be monitored and guaranteed by the Peace Council, headed by President Donald J. Trump. Sanctions will be imposed for violations. And it says, note, this is the same general structure Trump proposed to govern the Gaza peace agreement. It is not complicated. Let's stop killing each other. Let's try to rebuild our land, right? Let's try to unwind the toxicity that is baked into our teachings of the youngest generations so that they're born and raised to hate their neighbors. Let's agree to make Europe great again. Not hard. J.D. Vance saying something very interesting. Yesterday, did a sit down with Breitbart, and he was talking about this conversations with Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries with the president before the shutdown, before all of this nonsense. President Trump said to them, we'll absolutely work with you. Don't shut down the government. Let's sit down and work it out. Listen to J.D. Vance, Vice President.
When we got to the serious stuff, and they said, we really want to address the healthcare problem confronting the American people, the president said, well, absolutely. We agree. We want to address the healthcare problem confronting the American people. In fact, you people screwed it up with Obamacare, the Unaffordable Care Act, and now you're coming to us saying, let's fix it. Great. Let's fix it. And then they said, I think they were kind of caught off guard, and they're like, well, but we want the fix before we're willing to open up the government. And the president was like, that's like 3 days from now. You want us to fix American health care in the next 3 days, and unless you do it, you're going to shut down the government? How about we open up the government and then work together to fix American health care? And of course, we know the history. They rejected it. They shut down the government. But I don't want to get ahead of the president, Matt, because we had a very, very good meeting in the Oval Office yesterday. I think that we have a great health care plan come together. I think that it's going to get Republican and Democrat support.
You mean to tell me that you have a health care plan that can unwind the debacle, the Kraken that is Obamacare? Well, yeah, look what he did in 28 points for Ukraine and Russia. You don't think that he can unwind healthcare? Because I do believe it's not complicated if you get the corruption out of the way. Audio soundbite number 2, the vice president says, look, Democrats broke healthcare. Trump doesn't care about the politics of it. He doesn't care that this generally is a loser for the GOP to talk about healthcare. He wants to fix it.
The American people get crap health care, and they pay way too much for it. You have people who are paying thousands of dollars a month in premiums for a family of 4, a family of 5, and the access to health care is really low. This system is broken. The Democrats broke it, but who cares? We're going to work together if they're willing to fix it. And the interesting thing, Matt, is, people say, and this is one of the things I love about the president, people will come to the president and say, no, don't talk about health care. That's a graveyard for Republicans. Republicans always lose on health care. And the president's like, I don't care about the politics of it. This system is screwed up for the American people. We need to fix it. So let's go and do it. Politics be damned. I love that. That's leadership. And that's exactly what we should want coming from the White House.
Democrats didn't care about your health care. They cared about health care for illegal aliens, which is why they tried to squeeze in $200 billion of spending to reopen the government. They wanted to hold you, your livelihood, safety in the skies, federal jobs, SNAP benefits, all of it hostage. Because you're being replaced, don't you know? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, the DOJ sets its sight on Gavin Newsom in California. Nothing like giving illegal aliens in-state tuition over American students. Oh my, next. Is it too early for me to say I hate everyone?
Nope.
Well, I do. When Newsmax stops taking us, I can wear my I hate people shirt. They didn't like some of my CNN sucks. Right? They're like, yeah, can you not wear that? I'm like, well.
I got more stuff in this bag from JJ and Penny than I got in a Halloween bag.
It's
nuts.
It's nuts. They're just wonderful friends and neighbors, and they enjoy sharing the flavors of the world with Brock and me, because we're both like, we've never really traveled. So.
The best part is there's like hardly any ingredients in any of these.
Oh, it's amazing how you get different quality in different places. I want to tell you guys about Brick House Nutrition. This is their big sale. This is their Black Friday sale. This is their time to get lean, to get Field of Greens, to get their creatine. It's their creatine for women, for smoother skin, a more toned, lithe body. So Black Friday, 30% off sale. Brick House Nutrition. All you have to do is go to brickhousesale.com, brickhousesale.com. Everything there, 30% off. This is like one of those times that you go and you're like, Wendy talks about Field of Greens. And I do, because it's wonderful. It's got everything that you need in it, right? Organic, whole food, whole fruit, and whole vegetable superfood, super drink. It's the one product I've ever heard from or heard the manufacturer say, if you don't hear from your doctor after getting some lab work done after drinking it, keep doing what you're doing. We'll give you all your money back. What? Okay. BrickHouseSale.com. BrickHouseSale.com. I think it's great. I love them, and I'm delighted that they're with us this week. Big news for them. Also, we want to say, look, I know the holidays are brutal. I know it's hard with weight. I don't think that starting when everybody else starts to lose weight, i.e. the beginning of the year, is always the best strategy. I think sometimes giving yourself an excuse to not indulge because you've committed to a program, because you've committed to a program that's based on your blood work, that's based on your body. And it says, this is what you're going to do. These are the calories you're going to eat. These are the foods you're going to avoid. And this is how long you're going to do it. And then all of a sudden, the weight melts off of you. You're not taking shots. You're not taking magic elixirs. It's real hardcore science based on your blood. That is what BodyByAim360.com is all about. BodyByAim360.com. 412-227-9255. That is the number. 412-227-9255. Why do I talk about BodyByAim360.com? Because my good friend Brock lost 70 pounds. I know it works. And I've seen friends do it. I'll never forget Bobby coming home and he's like, Mom, did you see Mrs. Griffin? And I'm like, I haven't seen her in a while. And he goes, she looks great. And I was like, really? And I saw her. I'm like, dang, you do look great. She's like, or I was a slob before. And I'm like, hey.
That's the way I look at it.
I'm like, hey, like she doesn't want to be patted on the back. She's like, don't applaud me for getting fat and losing weight. And I'm like, stop. And she's like, well, you've got to admit it. Got to admit what you've done if you're going to fix it and you're going to correct course. But if you can do that over the holidays, I'm fairly certain you can do whatever you want, which is, I think, is exciting. So, BodyByAim360.com. Let's see how you guys are doing. 7,700 watching. That's exciting. Almost at 2.5. All right, who knows what my number is?
277.
Wow, thanks.
Everybody knows.
Then why aren't we there?
They like to see you.
My
beg.
kids also know that they should make their beds in the morning. Why is it not something that's obvious?
Because they need you to tell them.
No, they don't. They know I'm not there. That's the thing. I'm gone. Oh my God, I've got a lot of hair today. Okay. You guys are going to hear a couple gems.
Oh, do. New open.
Have you heard it?
When did you want me to listen to it?
I don't know. I was just asking.
No. Taking a leap, trusting. I'm trusting Kelly like Putin should trust Trump.
Isn't it amazing how everybody gets something in there and all of the beneficiary stuff comes back to the United States? Investment in rare earth minerals.
It also
production
comes
of
out that-
infrastructure. Working in the Arctic. What?
You know what?
Where's Greenland in all of this?
They get reelected when everybody's making money and everybody's happy.
Can we just get the jag off Democrats out of the way? I mean, honestly, that's what it boils down to. How about you sit down and shut your mouth? Okay.
Yeah. You have
we're
no answers.
You had 4 years to fudge up what Trump had really gotten humming. And what he got humming his first term, I don't even think we talk about effectively enough what he accomplished with the constant lawfare and everybody hating him. Can you imagine if Democrats would just shut up and let him do his job? But of course, then things would be good and they could never be elected again. So it's not ever about you. It's never about that.
It's all about feelings. You know what I like the feeling of? Not paying over $4
Gold.
for gas.
Gold.
Well, not paying out the
wazoo
for gas. And the only reason we're over $3 is because
the taxes.
PA.
Freaking taxes.
60 some odd cents.
Unreal taxes. Taxes on top of taxes. Why?
Get out of my pocket.
Because we need to make bigger. Bigger government always makes things better, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just look at your postal service. All right.
For some reason, Democrats don't realize that the well will run dry. You can only tax people so much.
All right, folks, let's go. Hour number 2, seconds away. We're delighted you're here. If you're new, drop us a line on the chat and tell us where you're from and how you found us. If you just found us on the big box or what have you. Hey, Suttles 2065. Really?
Don't let me down, Kelly.
Wow, somebody just placed a $70 order.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
Hi, folks. Your favorite president here. I just wanted to remind you that on January 5th, Wendy Bell will be moving her big, beautiful broadcast to the coveted noon to 3 time slot. So now even Democrats who usually get up at the crack of noon can listen. Kind of scary, right? Because on January 5th, Wendy Bell is going to make radio great again.
3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live, marching our way every single day behind this beautiful microphone to 7 million podcast downloads. Wendy Bell Radio, wherever you get your favorite podcasts. I hope you join us and I hope you add us to your daily lineup. It's great to be with you. Now, I will admit, this story strikes a nerve with me. It strikes super duper home. And it does not to many of you who don't have kids in college or coming through the pipeline or grandkids or what have you. But we do have quite a few conversations on this program about education. And we've had many conversations about the benefit of trade schools and how I can see in many instances for so many people foregoing that, well, everybody in my family always went to college, so I've got to go to college. Rethinking that whole thing, reprogramming our minds and seeing where is the sustainability? Where is the pay? Where is the job security? Because AI is going to change a lot of things in our world, but it's not going to know how to change your plumbing, right? It's not going to fix your breaker box. It's not going to put in a new electrical outlet for you. It's simply not going to do that. And so we talk about getting away from this mindset of college, got to do college, which is something that I'm certainly guilty of. I was raised in Southern California by parents who said, girls, my sister and me, girls, you guys are going to college, and that's the way it's going to go. It's a privilege, so work hard and go somewhere that's meaningful. Do you believe that there should be different prices for that college experience based on whether you're an American citizen or whether you're an immigrant? Because I don't. I don't believe that just because you've broken the law and invaded our country to come here, that all of a sudden we should be laying out the red carpet and falling over ourselves to give you something that is extra than what I'm giving my family. I have 2 college graduates. I have 1 in. I have 2 in the pipeline, waiting any day now to find out where they are going to go. And I guarantee you, there is nobody in the state of California looking at my children saying, you know what, we think we should give them a break, just like they're giving a break to illegal aliens, which is freaking reprehensible. It's beyond unfair. It's replacement. The theme today, if you're just joining us, these Democrats, globalist deep states suck people. They don't care about you. They don't care about you. They don't care about your kids. They don't care about your parents, because they sure as hell wouldn't have sent COVID people back into the nursing homes to wipe out a generation of old people, right? They care about staying in power. They care about a permanent underclass. They care about the math, which is why they've brought in all of these people, and they are paying them for making that journey into this country. Here is your payoff. Well, it's interesting because the DOJ is suing Gavin Newsom in California because of it. Illegals got a break while U.S. students picked up the tab. And it's wrong. So here is the story. The DOJ, and I want you to begin to see, I was totally unaware of this, how much the Democrat Party has bent over backwards to choose over you and over your children people with no connection to this country who they've essentially bribed and blackmailed to come here and are now paying off with your money. That's the kick in the pants. The Department of Justice sued Governor Gavin Newsom on Thursday over a California measure that gives illegal immigrants access to in-state tuition benefits, marking the third lawsuit in 1 week that the department has brought against the high-profile Democratic governor. The lawsuit brought in the Eastern District of California alleges that California's education code caused out-of-state U.S. students to pay higher tuition rates at California's schools than people living in the country illegally. That's called discrimination. That is called racial and ethnic and nationalist bias. That is the screwing of Americans for the benefit of people who broke our laws to be here. And it doesn't have small consequences. Do you want to know what the difference between in-state and out-of-state tuition is? If you just want to know about this, well, say you wanted to go to a community college in California, and you're from Pennsylvania, the way I am. Well, if my son wanted to go to a community college in California, he would pay $9,300 more than an illegal immigrant who got in-state tuition, even though they're not from the state. They're not from the country, but they get a $9,300 perk. That's a lot of money. What if they wanted to go to a state university in California? CSUN, for instance. Cal State, we'll say Northridge. Well, my son would pay $10,800 more than somebody from another country who broke our laws to get into this country, who wants to go there. $10,800. What if it's a University of California program? Well, that's where you really get it handed to you. My son, a citizen, would pay $34,200 more than an illegal immigrant given access to in-state tuition at a University of California school. How do you guys feel about that? Because I can tell you, it pisses me off. Don't tell us that you're not choosing winners and losers. Don't tell us that you're not saddling the American taxpayer with all of these preferential programs that, lo and behold, never, ever benefit us. It is the stifling, it is the suffocation of the rules and the regulations and the red tape, which have ground to a halt commerce in so many of our communities, yes. It is the preferential picking of winners and losers. You win, Carlos. You lose, Christopher. Does that make sense? I want you to hear, and to make it worse, you've got somebody now throwing his hat in the ring for governor. Let's hear if you understand, if you can recognize the voice, because it is a particularly slimy swamp creature who obviously, in his own mortgage fraud allegations of his own crises, if you will, sees that failing upwards to become the next governor of California would provide him some mighty fine insulation.
I'm Eric Swalwell, and it's this simple. The next governor of California has two jobs. One, keep the worst president in our history out of our homes, out of our streets, and out of our lives.
Buying food at the grocery store is getting more expensive.
No one will keep Californians safer than I will. No one. Nancy Pelosi selected me for the Intelligence Committee and to help lead the impeachment of a corrupt president. Californians will never bend the knee. And two, bring us a new California. California is the fourth largest economy in the world. So shouldn't we be a state where you can take your first job, have your first kid, and buy your first home in the same decade? And one where you can fill that home with food and flood it with light. I'm Eric Swalwell.
He's our governor!
We can build ourselves a new California that we can share in together.
Does anybody else need a shower after that? I need a loofah. That's just gross. There is nothing Eric Swalwell is going to do as governor that's going to make life in California any better. He might give you some pointers, some mortgage application pointers, right? He might give you some pointers on sleeping with Chinese spies. He might give you some pointers on being the primo house leaker of information, the chief deputy of sewer rat Jamie Raskin. Well, I'd be afraid if I was in California. If California doesn't pick Steve Hilton, I don't know what y'all are going to do. You're going to be taxed into a breaking point. Now, look, the whole college thing and how California, it's not going to get any better under a Governor Swalwell. But did you hear about this? The DOJ suing to stop Minnesota law allowing undocumented students to qualify for in-state tuition. It's not just California, ladies and gentlemen. It's Minnesota, which is in our crosshairs bigly today. You want to talk about a state that's been invaded? You want to talk about a state that has a lot of people who don't look like they're Americans there because they're not, but they are stealing hook, line, and sinker from Medicaid. They're stealing from the welfare programs that are meant for needy Americans, moms who need help, senior citizens who need assistance. Hey, this is one of many grifts, ladies and gentlemen. And this is the story coming up after the break. I want you to hear Abby Phillips. She is a CNN show host. I want you to hear how she finger wags conservative talk show host Ben Ferguson. He is actually brilliant in this clip. Remember how they downward revised jobs under Joe Biden? And it wasn't like 5 or 10,000. It wasn't like, oops, we forgot to carry the one. It was almost 1 million jobs that didn't exist. Why did they not exist? Democrats don't make. They spend. They tax you and spend. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. So it's California, it's going to be Minnesota, it's going to be Michigan, it's going to be Pennsylvania, right? It's going to be Maine. You're going to see it in Delaware and New Hampshire. All of these areas giving preferential treatment and tuition breaks to illegal aliens. All I can say is I hope my kids do really well on those AP tests, because that's a class off in college. That's college credit. Let's hope. Go ahead. I won't do anything that you need to push a button for. So my son Chris got into I'm super proud of him. He got into the engineering major school, whatever, at Penn State main campus. I was very impressed. I was like, that's badass. That's badass. You're clearly your father's child, right? We'll see what he does. We'll see what they do. He wants to go to Notre Dame, I think. Who knows, guys? Okay. Small power surge. I'm feeling much better, though. Thank you. The Disc Institute of Pittsburgh. I would do anything to not have surgery. Anything to not have surgery. Which is why the doctors who are sponsors on this program don't cut into people. They heal them. They come up with outside-the-box ways to fix you. And Dr. Rafferty, which I love about him, bulging, herniated, deteriorating discs in your back make life miserable. And then you become this pill-popping machine, right? I don't want to treat the symptoms. I want to treat the pain and get rid of it. I want to get rid of it. And that is what intradisc neutrosis is. And the great thing about Doc Rafferty is if you call 412-906-9600, there's no cost to talking to them. There's no cost to having them look at your MRI and seeing if you're a candidate, right? Non-surgical treatment, grow back your discs 98% successful. He's advertised with us for like 4 years. Why? Because people call and they get help and they get healed. Simple as that. 412-906-9600. 412-906-9600. PittsburghDiscInstitute.com.
Do you see what I texted you?
I did not. I'm sorry.
J.D. Vance will be having talks with Zelensky. Key.
Wow, he's farming it out. Trump is probably like, you know what? I got a few things going on. We're trying to bring down costs. We're trying to beat home that issue. And you're going to get some positive news in this segment on that, which I think is great. Eric Swalwell, can you imagine running for governor? It gets him out of D.C., right? Can you imagine being accused of mortgage fraud and being like, you know what, I should totally run for governor? It's like I'm an abuser. I'm a serial abuser of people, but I'm going to run for public office. I think that makes good sense. I'm the kind of leader you need. I'm a cheater. I'm a liar. I should be governor. Of course. This is the mentality, right? It's a game. Climb up the ladder and be insulated from the law, I guess, or justice. No matter how you vote, what party you affiliate with, you just don't like being lied to. Just give me the truth. Let me deal with it. Let me make decisions based on something that I can hold on to and chew on to, right? Tell me the truth. And how many times did they have to go back and correct the record? Over and over and over again. Not because if it was an oopsies. Because in a pivotal moment leading into an election, whether it be a midterm or what have you, Joe Biden's Democrat Party dropped farcicalness on us. It was about COVID. It was about the stats with that, right? It was all the garbage about January 6th. 4 police officers died that day. They were beaten to death, right? And then it was the jobs. Jobs kind of important. And when you make a mistake, like I can understand even 10,000 jobs, that's a lot. It's a lot of jobs to mess up on. I'd be like, we need to get better, people, okay, right? This was almost 1 million jobs that the Biden administration lied about. You don't just make a mistake. You lie, and then when nobody is paying attention, you revise the data downward. Oh, we thought it was that many, but it was really our bad, so we're going to change that, but shh, we're not going to tell anybody. Okay? You don't need to know. Well, this is the conversation with Abby Phillip and this conservative talk show host, Ben Ferguson. And he's like, look, 818,000 jobs. She's alleging that Trump is fudging numbers. And he's like, Trump is fudging numbers. How about Biden? This is where your sanctimonious liberal chick, who happens to be a box checker, right? She's going to finger wag her guest, interrupt, and be rude, and call a liar all in under 2 minutes. You ready? Go.
Because the American people realized how bad it was when Joe Biden was president, and they realized that they were being lied to, for example, about the job numbers. I'm old enough to remember when they lied about 818,000 jobs in the jobs report. The job report number of the last quarter of last year, they had to refine them back.
Hold on a second.
About 1 million jobs they lied about.
Hold on there. Let me just correct you.
Please.
Because, first of all, you are saying that the Biden administration lied about the jobs numbers. That is false. There are revisions that don't pull out your Google.
No, it's the housebudget.gov that literally says you're wrong.
Oh my God!
818,000 fewer jobs added than the economy previously reported. That is from our government.
That is not the Biden administration lying about the jobs numbers. There are economic There are
Abby, that's the
jobs.
definition of
There
fact
are.
checking.
Oh, excuse me.
But it is.
There are job number revisions that happen every single month, and then annually there are job number revisions that also happen. A revision of that size was very similar to a revision of the job numbers that also happened in, was it 2009, I believe it was?
It's all to do with
Every-
rebalancing. It's the
every year,
rebalancing of the numbers.
Ben, stop. Every year, the job numbers are revised. Sometimes they're revised up, sometimes they are revised down. The president is not responsible for putting out those numbers, good or bad.
So the Biden administration did not lie when they said there was
They just voted us
820,000 jobs.
No, they did not.
So, oh, wow.
Stop with the Biden administration. We're in the Trump administration. Are we not in the Trump administration?
Ben, I just think, honestly, let's stop for a second because that is very, very dishonest.
It's not
And
dishonest.
You know
True
it.
or false, there were
So you tell
818,000
me
fewer
that.
jobs
Hold
added
on,
to the
hold
economy
on.
than previous
You
years.
tell me
Like a bully.
that.
It's
Did the
exhausting.
Trump administration lie about the job numbers over the summer that have been revised down? Did they lie?
That not to the point of 818,000.
but
You're saying
that's not what I asked you. Did they
again,
lie?
I go back
Focus
to the
on
point.
America today.
I'm okay with
Ben,
the revisions. These were made up lies to the
were-
American
you're
people
lying. Then you
for
are
an
lying.
election
Ben, I'm
day.
sorry. I'm
It was
sorry.
for an election day.
My friend, you are lying.
I'm not
Okay?
lying.
Thank you. Because these
when
are
Joe
not-
Biden came out and said these
these
jobs
are
were
not-
created.
Stop. This is exhausting.
It
This
is exhausting.
This is why you guys lost the election.
This,
This is
I'm sure it
exactly
is
why
why we
Trump
lost
won.
the election.
All right.
That's not the point.
Wow. Everything you hate about liberals right there in 2 minutes. Unbelievable. The rude, sanctimonious correction by low IQ Abby Phillip, who interrupts her conservative guests 90% of the time. How dare she? See, there are some people in this country who believe they are untouchable. They are beyond and above reproach. You're not allowed to ask them questions, don't you know? They are of protected status. See, that's what this whole race thing in our country cultivated. And that's going to be a huge talking point in our next segment. That right there was one of the most egregious and obnoxious examples of whataboutism, and that was yesterday. Let's not talk about yet. We're talking about the Trump. We're moving for this is exhausting. I can't win. So this is so much. I can't talk to you. Which comes next? You must be a racist. You must be a hater. You must be stupid. You must not know as much as I do. No, I'm just telling the truth, which is an inconvenient part of your scheme right now. Whether you don't have the IQ to process or you're purposefully distorting everything because the media are the lapdogs of the Democratic Party. Either way, it's a bad look, Abby. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program. Speaking of that, if you don't like America, how about you just leave? Wanna? Let's go there. This whole military refusing orders thing, let's go next. That is such an embarrassing and offensive segment that I have never written to complain about something, and I might do that. I might do that. I'm going to see.
You have to love how
it's so off-putting.
4 years after Trump was out of office, they were still blaming Trump.
Mm-hmm.
When George Bush was out of office, they were blaming George Bush. But now, stop talking about Joe Biden because we're in the Trump administration.
Right.
Get the...
Yep.
I hate everyone.
I hate everyone.
I
Equal
really can't
opportunity
stand
hater.
Abby Phillip is bad.
Oh, God.
The blonde on that panel,
I don't know who she is.
she's a social media.
Oh, God.
She is just
And meanwhile, they've got Neera
toxic.
Tanden, the auto pen chick.
Yes.
Would you ever want her anywhere near your product? I wouldn't. You know what I do want near my...
She keeps her mouth shut.
Do you know what I want near my turkey? Chef IQ.
I'll take that
Ooh!
anywhere.
Sorry, I didn't put it away very well last time. Chef IQ. It's called Chef IQ Sense. This is what it is. This is the 3-pronger, as you can tell. It has one that has 2 and has one that's 1. Now they have one that's 4 too, just because they had to up it. These things, you put them into your turkey, you put them into your steak, into your chicken, into your fish, into your pork, whatever you're making, wherever you're making it. And this does all of the hard stuff for you. It monitors the internal. I told you guys about my Inferno. I had a grease fire and I had 4 beautiful strip steaks. And then my Chef IQ was going,
go check your...
And I was like, what? He's like, temperature rising. And I was like, ah. And I go outside and I move it over off of the fire. And I kept cooking it. And it told me when to flip it and take it off. And it was perfect. I'm like, you son of a mother. So look, if you don't want to be in your kitchen looking at your turkey cooking the whole time, you want to make sure that you're not cutting into it and it's still pink and it's juicy and you're like, Chef IQ. Chef IQ, they got a sale going on right now, site-wide, which is bonkers. Site-wide, 30%. ChefIQ.com, promo code Wendy. ChefIQ.com, promo code Wendy. So I was just thinking about that. Ryan comes home from school today. I bought him that oven on this site.
It hasn't arrived yet, has it?
No, but if it does and I'm not there, it's probably not, like it's not in just plain. It probably says, here's your new oven. And I wouldn't want him to see it. I know, these are first world problems. Sorry.
You want me to text them? Don't look at boxes?
No. No, I don't. ChefIQ.com, promo code Wendy, site-wide 30% off. I'm telling you.
No, you gave up mine, so, you know.
I gave up, what do you mean?
You mentioned what I bought.
Oh. So we got Chris Cuomo, who apparently is growing a mustache. Okay. You do you, baby.
We skipping. Although we could move that to, what is it? 11:30.
What did I miss? Scott.
Scott.
I did. I got a little fussy. Yes, you know what? Let's do that. That's good. And it fit better there anyway, and I knew that. I knew that, and I kept it there for some pad.
Just remind me, please.
No. This thing going on in Minnesota with the Somalis. It's interesting. I think my dark horse favorite guy in the administration might be Scott Bessent.
He's got that. He's hard to listen to.
But he makes you listen to him.
But
it makes you listen. You're like, what's that? What did he say? Guess who we have coming back next week? We have CB Distillery. That's exciting. I do like me some CB Distillery. Oh, Iceman comes back.
Really?
Genucel, Iceman, Lean, CB Distillery. I like it. Ireland Contracting. Hey, one of the things that you love about southwestern Pennsylvania is when you have something that you need to do to your house. First of all, you know it's going to be thousands and thousands of dollars, period. So you already know before you start, you're going to take it. It's going to be a big expense. And you're like, wow, why don't you work with a company that you know isn't going to take you for a ride? That's like 90% of it. I expect you to be talented. I expect you to be able to do your job. But to not look at somebody's zip code and give them a surcharge that's extra because it's nice, that's Ireland Contracting. They are honest. They're hardworking. It's family run and family operated. It's a family itself. And they do home exterior renovation. So new siding, new roofing, new windows, soffit and fascia, and the unsexy stuff, gutters and downspouts. 1-800-NEW-ROOF. IrelandContracting.com. And you know how I feel about my boyfriend, Dan, their son, who's the electrician.
Next week.
Next week. Moving on up. I'm so excited. Okay. Well, welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. You know, this is one of those stories, and I know Newsmax covered it quite a bit, I saw it being covered by all the other networks. It popped up on my social media feed, but I have such a hard time listening to people like Mark Kelly and Alyssa Slotkin, people who have served the military, served for this country. I don't, in my mind, understand how somebody who served in the military could be a Democrat. And it sounds like a terrible thing to say, but I don't care. What Democrats push, espouse, value, purport seems completely contradictory to this whole idea of protection in America first. Because that is got to be baked into you when you get into the military. So you saw this story, right? You got 6 lawmakers putting out a video basically saying to the military, to active duty military today, if you don't believe the order that you're getting is legal from your military boss, whether it be Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, any of the people underneath him, or it's the commander-in-chief, it's Donald Trump, just disobey. Don't pay attention. Don't follow through. That's okay. What a terrible and dangerous message. Here's the headline from Newsmax. Slotkin leads Dems urging troops to disobey Trump. Senator Alyssa Slotkin, Michigan, posted a video to social media Tuesday urging members of the U.S. military and intelligence community to stand up to the Trump administration, resist. This is the most recent iteration of resist. All of our polling shows our crazy whack job, bleeding heart, liberal, progressive left. They want us to rise up and resist. And so we're going. This is the next, right? Schumer tried to resist. His resistance was stupid because they're so blatantly idiotic and political. But this is just dangerous. The video titled "Don't Give Up the Ship" features 6 Democrats who previously served in the military or intelligence services. So Slotkin, former CIA officer, appeared alongside Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona, Reps. Chris DeLuzio and Chrissy Houlihan of Pennsylvania, Maggie Goodlander of New Hampshire, Jason Crow of Colorado. In her post on X, Slotkin said the group wanted to speak directly to service members, claiming the American people need you to stand up for our laws and our Constitution. Huh. Doesn't that make you feel weird? Makes me feel like there is a major line that has been crossed, because that puts all of us in danger. Look, I'm not a military person. I don't come from a military family. I have great reverence for the military. Isn't it all about command? Obeying and following command. Because if you have a bunch of people running roughshod in your platoon and you're calling the shots, how does that work for you? Well, people die. Missions fail. Wars get lost. And people suffer. What a dangerous game. Calling troops to disobey. That's a major bridge too far. At several points in the video, Kelly, Slotkin, and DeLuzio repeat the line, "You can refuse illegal orders. You must refuse illegal orders." Illegal to them is orders from a commander-in-chief that they don't believe should be president. I'm sorry, we're not interested in your opinions. Elections have consequences. We know we're paying the effects of Joe Biden. So that is the controversy. Now people are losing their minds, as well they should. This is just one of those sacred places you don't dance. Do you guys know who Dakota Meyer is? He's a Marine. He is a Medal of Honor recipient, and his background probably gives him good reason to take the phone and start recording. Sergeant Myers saved 36 United States Marines in Afghanistan in 2009. I think he understands following orders. He left the Marine Corps 15 years ago. He recently re-enlisted. Why? Because he wants to be part of Pete Hegseth's military. The war side of it. We're at war. And you need heroes. I'm going to say this gentleman is among them. Listen to Sergeant Meyer, Dakota Meyer, say to other people in the military, don't you dare listen to what these senators are saying. It is a disgrace, and you know better. Listen.
We've crossed the line in this country that cannot be ignored. We have sitting U.S. elected officials, including Senator Mark Kelly, now telling troops that they can refuse illegal orders. I mean, it sounds reasonable until you realize no legal order has been given. Everyone knows that. This isn't about the law. This is about planting seeds of doubt. It's a Trojan horse slipped into the minds of the one group of Americans who cannot afford to doubt for even 1 second, our military. I mean, you get our troops questioning their chain of command, questioning their commander-in-chief, questioning the oath that they swore to. And you're not just playing with politics, you're injecting anarchy into the ranks. And that goes against everything the American way stands for. Let me say this directly to anyone wearing the uniform. Do not listen to these politicians. If even one of you follows what they're attempting to do, your life's going to be the one that burns down, not theirs. You'll lose your rank, your career, your benefits, your retirement, everything you worked for. And not one single politician will stand beside you when the consequences hit. They will forget your name before the ink dries on your paperwork.
Will use you, military members, the same way they use black voters before black voters caught on. The same way they're using the illegal aliens right now. These are pawns in the game, helping the Democrats, the deep state, the uniparty, the sewer rats accomplish their goals. Chris Cuomo had a little bit of a rant yesterday. And this is interesting because in this video at News Nation, he admits he is a Democrat. He admits, but this is something I would never have done on the television when I was a TV news anchor and reporter. I would never, ever, ever have you guess what my politics were. Period. Right? Having a talk show kind of different. It's the predicate of my talk show. But here he says, not only am I a Democrat, he's calling out the Democrats for trying to pull this kind of nonsense, encouraging insubordination among military personnel and interfering with chain of command loyalty. That's the final straw, apparently, to him.
Right or wrong? This? Wrong. All day long. He's MAGA. Shut up. This is the truth. Okay? Saying what they said is not even close to illegal. It is not even close to any legal or logical definition of treason. And if you watch this show, I said last night when it came out, it was wrong to put the duty to check a president on the troops. It's on you. You have a constitutional duty. What an ugly irony that it's members of Congress asking this. It should be citizens who might be asking that. You were supposed to check. It's why you raised your right hand. But what is it about now? They're looking for a fight. Why? Because you want them to. Because you want a muscular response to Trump. You want him to stop walking all over you. You want him to stop getting away with everything and him calling the game all the time and controlling everything. You want a muscular response. That's why you want Newsom on Twitter, acting like fools. We're all acting like fools. Why? Because I guess we don't know any better anymore. But I know we're playing with fire, and I know worse is to come on this course. I don't like it. I don't want it. I will leave my family. I will enter unsafe conditions to cover it. But if we don't reset and fast, we are asking for big trouble.
I agree, but I love the drama. I'll leave my family, sort of like how you did when you went into the basement. During COVID, and he's like, I have COVID. I have to go in quarantine. I'll be back in 2 weeks. No. Right? And then he's out spotted riding his bike on Long Island. And the neighbor's like, hey, aren't you supposed to be quarantined? And he's like, right? That's the same Chris Cuomo who's like, this is a bridge too far. President Trump is coming out. He says, you know what? These people are traitors. Accuse them of seditious behavior. And he suggested they should face the death penalty for encouraging what he viewed as insubordination. That that whole thing. Do you really believe that Donald Trump wants people to die because of this? And it's like, you know what? You're so obnoxious and so overwhelmingly stupid. I can't talk anymore. Here is a military man in his car. And he's like, look, this is the message of the day. And this is really the message for everybody, but specifically Democrats, who are always miserable. They never smile. You don't see a happy Democrat. Do you ever see a happy Democrat? Do they look pleasant? Do they look refreshed? Do you look at a liberal chick on social media and you say, she looks so friendly? Is there a man out there who looks at a liberal woman on social media and says, I got to get me some of that? No. And this gentleman, clearly military, says if you don't like it here, leave.
I'm going to say this as appropriately as possible. If you don't like America, you should leave. If you are a part of an organization that is plotting the downfall of America, I'm telling you, you should leave. If you are a part of any religious movement that does not appreciate the Constitution of the United States of America, then I'm letting you know it is in your best interest to leave. I understand, but I'm letting you know that it is your best interest to leave. I get it. I understand what it's like to want to have it your way. You're not going to have it your way. And so I'm letting you know that if you are not happy, if you are not satisfied, if you are looking for some type of change, well, there are already places that have been built just the way you want it. And it ain't going to be here.
It's not going to be here. Your resistance doesn't become more important than what 77 million plus Americans voted for. And by the way, as you chew on that concept, 77 million people, remember that they told you that 81 million voted for Joe Biden. Right? I mean, you got to laugh about it, or else you're going to choke somebody and throw them down the stairs when we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program. Do you guys hear about the lawmaker accused of bilking FEMA out of that $5 million? Do you know what she's blaming? It wasn't her bad decision. It's not her corruption. It's not that she's awful as a human being and doesn't care about people and is a greedy, narcissistic witch. No. Oh, I've got it for you next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Oh, see, I get a little sweat worked up in here.
Like Chris Cuomo?
Like Chris Cuomo. I'll leave my family. And I'm like, oh, what a hero, Chris. He's one of those guys that strikes me that you could probably take down with one punch.
Glass jaw, or what is glass jaw?
Yeah. Because he likes to fluff it up and he likes to wear the schmedium and roll up his sleeves and show you that he was just doing some push-ups in the commercial break.
No, he's the guy that does the quick curls and then hurry up, puts them down, puts on a tight t-shirt and runs upstairs.
Right. That's sort of like what I do on Newsmail, or I used to do when I was on television.
You grab the table?
I would grab the table, would create the illusion of a bicep, and I look like I was ripped.
And you know what, guys? A mustache is okay. Growing the little soul patch with the mustache and shaving everything else, I just don't get. I get a full goatee. I'll do a goatee every once in a while. I'll do a beard. I don't do mustaches. And I sure as hell don't do soul patches.
Mustaches are just...
Unless I've met you with one, like
look,
Dr. Mike.
Look, I would never want to see him without a mustache.
I've
Don't
only
ever
known him
shave
with
that.
a mustache.
I love you with a mustache.
Yes.
Tom Selleck, bring it to me. Yes.
Wow.
Magnum PI, yes.
It wasn't the
Yes.
shorts.
Yes. Yes.
I'll have what she's having.
Yes.
It's like seeing a woman with a mustache. You're like, no.
Stop it.
Sorry.
Who has a
Did
mustache?
I hit close to home?
No.
Oh.
What woman do you see with a mustache?
No, I'm just saying. Well, a Democrat woman.
No, I'm telling you, it's the shame, it's the guilt, it's that they literally absorb that. It becomes their identity. And so their quest isn't to find joy and peace and harmony and to find a man to fall in love with and create a family with and go on this wild adventure with. It's completely, all of that is pushed aside for anger and vitriol. And that is their lifeblood. That is the religion. That is who they are. And if you're not down with their struggle of white guilt, then I'll tell you what, you're a racist. Okay, whatever. Who knew that I was going to have that as a badge of honor? Right? It was supposed to be my scarlet letter.
Well, Don Parcel says, I have a mustache. I'm sure it looks great on you. The soul patch is what I can do the mustache. The soul patch.
Soul patch.
That's what they're called. When you just grow like right here. It's just.
I want to tell you about
not
the
a good look.
about the Simkovich Concussion Institute, because it feels like some people need an eval. Stat eval. For somebody to come across the country and to get an extended, like 5 days at a Pittsburgh hotel, because Dr. Simkovich says he can fix them. That's a powerful statement. And when I tell you that what he does as an expert of traumatic brain injury, concussion, and what have you, that he can fix you with his hands without a scalpel, without syringes, without cutting or bleeding or needles or anything, just his hands. And he just needs a couple days of your time to completely immerse you, to relax you, and to fix you. Do you think that'd be the best trip you've ever taken? Because that's what people do. Take 4 days off of work, 3 days off of work, come to Pittsburgh, get a hotel, and go to SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. Sit down, get fixed, get healed. Chronic headaches, you don't have to suffer. If you're getting headaches more than a couple times a month, you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be. He told us that specifically. And he finds it. He finds the point where you're hurt and he fixes it. And I've watched it. And I'm super hopeful he's going to open up a door to a whole new dimension with our friend who has essential tremor. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. Found guilty of doing dumb stuff in my life. I've made terrible mistakes. I'm sure I disappointed my parents. Like, it was a weekly sport, right? At my house when I was growing up. At some point, you realize saying you're sorry and actually meaning it, that's the catch, matters. It matters. It matters to who you are. It matters to what you portray to others. It affects your character. And certainly, if you are sincere, is in the moment probably harder than lying. But in the end, it's the only way. Unless you're Representative Sheila Shirphyllis McCormick, whose excuse for using $5 million in FEMA funds during the COVID era of rampant waste and fraud and abuse. Her excuse is, well, I'm black and you're racist because you're holding me to the law. You can't make it up. I want you to hear what this chick said. So there's the backstory on her, right? So she and her brother, she's from Florida, I think, and she and her brother run this, I guess they have some healthcare company. Like, how do you have a healthcare company? I have no idea. But they had, an incentivizing, vaccinating all of your workers. And that was when Congress was like, oh, we'll just send in more millions. Like, oh, vaccinate your people. There were these campaigns. It was sort of like the doctors being incentivized. If you vaccinate 70% of your patients, we'll give you a bonus of blah, blah, blah. And some of these doctors got millions of dollars in bonuses, which should have been a huge red flag, was for us. Bing, 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 bing. Right? This money was supposed to be used to vaccinate or to do other things, and they just used it. $5 million, and then she uses it to fund her campaign for Congress. It's totally ridiculous. It's dirty as stones, and this would be a perfect opportunity as it's all coming out. She's been indicted And the prison term is like 53 years you're going to get, right? If we believe the Democrats can actually ever be held to account. So a reporter is asking her, what's it like being a dirtbag who steals allegedly $5 million and does all this stuff? This is the mind of the liberal woman, and scary, the liberal black woman who is above all reproach because of her blackness, apparently. Listen.
I look forward to my day in court so I can prove myself and actually state the truth. But if this is what Congress is becoming, where they're always trying to intimidate you, scare tactics, especially attacking minorities, black and brown people, then we're going to have to keep fighting for the district. And everybody has been giving me so much support, and we're going to keep fighting until the district gets what it needs, which is fair prices, housing, and fair representation of Congress.
Oh, she tried to pivot. We're going to keep fighting. We're fighting you because you're a filthy dirtbag. Prove us wrong. She's like, if these people are going to keep attacking me and other minorities, do you not know that that's racist? No, see, you broke the law, and now you're being held accountable. There's a difference. It's called accountability, not racism. I know racism is super convenient, but see, now that everything is racist, nothing is racist, and you're obnoxious and so disappointing for even saying that. Now, speaking of obnoxious and disappointing and low IQ, let's talk about Jasmine Crockett. I try so hard to stay away from this lady. I really do. But she's trying to resist as she's embroiled in her own problems. Did you hear what she said? She said that President Trump and you, MAGA extremists, are basically emboldening white supremacists. And because of that, there are white people all over the place running around trying to lynch black people. What? Say what?
Gonna do? They not even gonna, honestly, they're about to outlaw the idea of white supremacy and white hate. Like, they are about to be like, oh, that's not a thing. Forget the fact that you're talking about getting rid of like the classification for nooses in a time in which we have seen these random black bodies be strung up down south. Also, seemingly at a time in which you're back in office, because what you do is you embolden the hate. You embolden everybody to take off their hoods. That is what he has done. He is the one that is producing this violence.
What is she talking about? You guys know a lot of white supremacists running around with hoods on that are taking black people, snatching them off the street, and lynching them? And then she's going to talk about some new classification of the noose. You know what? There's only one.
Did she clear that with Jesse Smollett?
Baba Wallace. It was a noose. I saw a noose. Or that was a garage pole. Like, what could it be? It's so ridiculous. And see, here's the problem. They trample on actual racism and actual historic discrimination and vile, murderous behavior in a chapter of history we wish we could all etch a sketch away, right? And they beat it. And they beat it. And they tell you, you're white. You should feel shame and guilt. And you should let me get away with this. Don't ever, right? Hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell Radio program on tap. Minnesota taxpayers. Are they honestly funding a terror movement in Somalia? Stop it. No, you can't be true. Yes. Yes, it can. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. And then she starts, they be like, and I'm like, you know what, honey bunny?
Jesse Smollett's going, did I use the wrong noose?
You're an educated individual. You don't have to talk straight for people to understand you. Did you guys ever see that the Eddie Murphy Saturday Night Live, when he pretends he's white, he changes and becomes white. And so they paint him white and he gets on the bus. And once the one black dude on the bus gets off, like one of the women shrugs off her trench coat and she whips out like a tray of cocktails and she starts walking around the bus and there's disco music and everybody's like getting down and having fun because the black guy got off the bus. And he's like, this is very peculiar behavior in the white community. Like, that's how he pretended to be white, was like a stockbroker or an accountant, like super buttoned up and like, rah, rah, rah. Like, I don't even know how you would pretend to be white. That was how I would remember in that skit. It was one of the funniest damn things in the world. And it can't be fun anymore.
Dave Chappelle used to do skits like
Oh my gosh.
with
They're brilliant.
the blind black racist.
Oh
one.
my
Oh
goodness.
my gosh.
Did you ever see him doing, did you ever see
Big B or
you know how they used to do fake commercials and they had the one for the Minolta whatever? So simple. Anyone can use it. And it's Stevie Wonder playing tennis. And he's taking pictures of like, I don't know who it is, Jimmy Connors or whatever. And it's like, it was funny. Nothing's funny anymore. Everything's got to be so flippin' serious. That's why we like to have fun with you guys. All right, time to drink.
wow.
Mm-hmm.
Usually you wait till 2:30.
Disinfect with Sniper. This is Sniper time, Sniper talk. Sniper is also now has these Hunt Chef spices. And they're the ones that I've had so far have been freaking phenomenal. And look, when Brock told me that he had found this guy, the Hunt Chef, and loved his podcast or whatever he does, he's an actual chef and he uses his own actual spices. And then he cooked, Brock did, for my family and used these spices. I was like, I like those spices. Let's try some more of those. And there's 12 of them. And so I got the whole kit and the caboodle, and they're at home. I have 2 of them here that I'm holding for you. So if you guys want to try them, go ahead. Why not? I wouldn't just buy one. I would buy some Sniper and throw in at least a couple because these don't get free shipping. But if you throw them in with your Sniper, they do. I love them. Mm-hmm. Hunt Chef spices. It's disinfectwithsniper.com, and that is where we sell that hospital grade antibacterial, microbial, fungal. It is like the gold standard of wellness in a spray bottle. And I think about this with my kids and their equipment, their gear. They come home, whether you have kids who play football or hockey or what have you, their stuff reeks. You spray it with Sniper. You don't have to worry about damaging any fabric. It's not going to hurt anything. You don't have to wipe it off. It works without washing it off. It leaves behind a clean scent, right? And I use it every single day. Every single day. That's Sniper. One of those things you can't get enough of. So get a bottle of Sniper, throw in some spices.
The Big Sexy Rub was apparently the big seller.
Is it?
Is the number one
because
seller.
Because you talked about it.
Well, that's what one of the 2 that I put on the brisket.
So good. So good. So why not? I was like, look, I'm ready to try some new stuff. I've definitely made the same things over and over with the same spices over and over.
To be honest, I never knew there were different spices for different foods. You know, like I find a spice I liked and I would put it on pretty much everything.
Like what? What would like something like what? Lowry seasoned salt?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. But so how I feel about Red Hot. I literally put Red
everything.
Hot on everything. Yeah. I could see that though. But I mean, until you actually
cook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you have a beautiful grill. And now you have this beautiful oven. And now you have Chef IQ. God, you're so lucky to work with me. I'm just saying what everybody else is thinking. Wow. More Gains Fitness too. More Gains, MORGAINZ fitness.com. You know, I love that about Kelly. She's very specific, individual, one-on-one, interacts with, if you're in Somerset or Cambria counties and you hook up with her for this 90 Ignite program, where you give her 90 days and she gives you your body back. Like, she's on you. It's not like it's going to cost $4 and you'll never talk to her again. It's like, how's this and how's that? And if you have questions, she's responsive. I will tell you about Kelly Morgan. It's like our friend who owns Sniper. Like this. It's like that. More Gains Fitness, MORGAINZ fitness.com. It's just, I'm telling you, what she does is pretty
Her own
impressive.
transformation.
Mm-hmm. Total body transformation in 90 days. I got this, by the way, Sniper customer service. Dear Wendy, I love Disinfect with Sniper products, but I can't say enough good things about their customer service. I made mistakes on my orders and they immediately contacted me to verify my order. It's refreshing to have that kind of customer service in this climate. Thank you, Judy. Thank you, Judy. I appreciate that you took the time to send that.
Forward that to me. I'll forward it to our guy.
So this is Jenny. Jenny writes, "Oh, Wendy, I meant to tell you I found another use for Sniper. I spilled tomato sauce on one of my favorite placemats, wiped it off, and thought it was gonna I'm gonna spray it with Sniper. I did and rubbed it with a cloth. I sprayed it again and then put the mat on the counter to dry. In the morning, the stain was gone." I'm just saying, I love my Sniper. Right? I sent it to him.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm. Swalwell promo. Oh, no. Thank you for the order, by the way. Thank you to Jamie in Parker, Pennsylvania.
Nice.
She got a tumbler.
5.
You'll love it.
4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family. She once hosted a 3-hour show in just 15 minutes. She once intimidated the Electoral College to audit itself. Her monologues are so sharp, they're considered a concealed carry weapon. Fact-checker sites routinely issue her a retraction a week in advance. Even her commercial breaks trend on social media. Her freedom of speech has diplomatic immunity. She doesn't just drain the swamp has to ask for cab fare. Wendy Bell is the most interesting conservative woman on radio. Keep rumbling, my friends. 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live and on the clock. Delighted to be with you as we inch ever further closer to year number 2 of President Trump's second term. Isn't it amazing when you see the unraveling, the unveiling, unmasking of the grift? When you start to get people who are Republicans into positions to peel back the curtain and to start digging through the data, oh my, have we been taken for a ride? It's not exclusive to Democrats. Republicans do it too. But I'm going to tell you, these fraudulent systems meant to benefit foreign governments, even terrorist organizations, and then the absolute, I don't even know what the word is, lunacy, and the abject lack of care from the people in charge who are Democrats. We're talking about Minnesota. We're talking about Tim Walz, Minnesota. And I want to read you this. It's a fascinating article from cityjournal.org, city-journal.org. Here's the title. The largest funder of Al-Shabaab is the Minnesota taxpayer. I was like, wait, what? How some of the state's welfare funds ended up in the hands of a terror group. And I want to get as far into this as I can because it's one of those things that with every paragraph I read, you're like, wait, what? This is how much graft has been welcomed into our country from the open border. Minnesota is drowning in fraud. Billions in taxpayer dollars have been stolen during the administration of Governor Tim Walz alone. Democrat state officials overseeing one of the most generous welfare regimes in the country are asleep at the switch, and the media, duty-bound by progressive pieties, refuse to connect the dots. In many cases, the fraud has allegedly been perpetrated by members of Minnesota's sizable Somali community. Federal counterterrorism sources confirm millions of dollars in stolen funds have been sent back to Somalia, where they ultimately landed in the hands of the terror group Al-Shabaab. As one confidential source put it, the largest funder of al-Shabaab is the Minnesota taxpayer. Our investigation, City Journal writes, shows what happens when a tribal mindset meets a bleeding heart bureaucracy, when imported clan loyalties collide with a political class too timid to offend, and when accusations of racism are cynically deployed to shield criminal behavior. Wow. The predictable result is graft, with taxpayers left to foot the bill. Accusations of racism cynically deployed to shield criminal behavior. It's what that representative in Texas did. Don't accuse me of something that I did. I'm black. I'm going to call you a racist. It's cynical. If you were to design a welfare program to facilitate fraud, it would probably look a lot like Minnesota's Medicaid Housing Stabilization Services Program. That's a mouthful. The HSS program, first of its kind in the country, was launched with a noble goal, always does, right? To help seniors and addicts, the disabled, and the mentally ill secure housing. It was designed with low barriers to entry and minimal requirements for reimbursement, nevertheless, before the program went live. In 2020, officials pegged its annual estimated price tag at $2.6 million. It's a lot of money. Costs quickly spiraled out of control. In 2021, the program paid out more than $21 million in claims. In the following years, annual costs shot up to $42 million, then $74 million, then $104 million. And during just the first 6 months of 2025, payments have totaled $61 million. For what? So on August 1st, Minnesota's Department of Human Services moved to scrap this whole housing stabilization services BS program, noting that payment to 77 housing stabilization providers had been terminated this year alone due to credible allegations of fraud. Joe Thompson, then the acting U.S. attorney for the District of Minnesota, went even further, stating that the vast majority of the HSS program was fraudulent. Remember, predicated on this notion, we got to help people who are struggling. They're addicted. They're veterans. They're older, right? They're homeless. Oh, we've got to help equals fraud. On September 18th, Thompson announced criminal indictments for housing stabilization services fraud against a whole group of people, 6 of whom are in the Somali community. I'm not going to try to pronounce their names. He said most of these cases, unlike a lot of Medicare fraud and Medicaid fraud cases nationally, aren't just overbilling. He said at a press conference announcing the indictments, these are often just purely fictitious companies solely created to defraud the system, and that's unique in the extent to which we have that here in Minnesota. They didn't even try. They didn't even make it look good. They didn't even create signs that made it look like storefronts were doing one of anything. They didn't even try, and they got away with it. Thompson said many firms enrolled in the program operated out of dilapidated storefronts or rundown office buildings. The perpetrators often targeted people recently released from rehab, signing them up for Medicaid services they had no intention of providing. He noted many owners of companies engaged in the fraud had other companies through which they billed other Medicaid programs, such as the autism program, the adult rehabilitative mental health services program, on and on and on. What we are seeing is schemes stacked upon schemes, draining resources meant for those in need. It feels never ending, he said. I have spent my career as a fraud prosecutor, and the depth of the fraud in Minnesota takes my breath away. It gets worse. On September 8th, the same day that the fraud charges were announced, the U.S. Attorney's Office reported a guy named Abdullah Noor Jessow had become the 56th defendant to plead guilty in the $250 million Feeding Our Future fraud scheme. Founded in 2016, the Feeding Our Future was a small Minnesota nonprofit that sponsored daycares and after-school programs to enroll in the federal child nutrition program. Also a graft. The organizations that Feeding Our Future sponsored were primarily owned and operated by members of Minnesota's Somali community, according to 2 former state officials with connections to law enforcement. In 2019, Feeding Our Future received $3.4 million in federal funding dispersed by the state. In the months after COVID-19, however, the nonprofit rapidly increased its number of sponsored sites. Using fake meal counts, doctored attendance records, and fabricated invoices, the perpetrators of the fraud ring claim to be serving thousands of meals a day, 7 days a week, to underprivileged children. In 2021, Feeding Our Future received nearly $200 million in funding. In reality, the money was being used to fund lavish lifestyles, to purchase luxury vehicles and buy real estate in the United States, Turkey, and Kenya. In 2020, Minnesota officials raised concerns about the nonprofit's rapid expansion. In response, though, the group filed a lawsuit. That's how brazen they are. As brazen as a black lawmaker who suggests your racism is guiltier than her $5 million FEMA fraud. That is the standard operating playbook. When in doubt, claim racism, claim bias, even if the facts don't point to that. It allows for many folks in the middle or on the center left to stay silent. Isn't that gross? And it gets worse because then they operated a fraud system where they said all of these kids who happened to be Somalian in Minnesota, who were never evaluated, never tested for it, said they had autism. And they needed to open up all of these autism treatment centers. And then it became a booming business to the degree that we've already illustrated. Much like this housing program, autism claims to Medicaid in Minnesota have skyrocketed in recent years from $3 million in 2018 to $54 million in 2019, $77 million in 2020, $183 million in 2021, $279 million in 2022, $399 million in 2023. Meantime, the number of autism providers in the state spiked from 41 to 328. And they said all of these Somalian children who didn't have autism did. And because of that, they needed this treatment, which they never received, which never existed, in therapists' offices that never were established, in fictitious names that were never documented. What's Minnesota doing? The same thing California is doing. The same thing New York is doing. The same thing blue states do. Which is why 48,000 people last year left Minnesota. Nobody's moving there. Why would you? Because you're paying for it. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program. Speaking of money, did you guys see that the DNC had to take out a little bit of a loan? And I'm not going to say this is a payday loan. I'm going to say this is a monster. This is like a mob loan. You ready? Okay. I got the numbers for you and the reasoning next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Feeding Our Future. It's always predicated on some bleeding heart liberal thing. We've got to help people. The homeless, of course. Children, of course. Right? Addicts. Oh no, the elderly, they need help. Everything is a grift. Meanwhile, there were people who needed that money who didn't get it. And all of these foreign invaders got rich. Other than that, I got nothing. Let's see if I hit all of my people. I didn't do Healthy Cell. HealthyCell.com. I think and since he's not here, I can say this, but I used to watch, and I think one of the big triggers of Brock's seizures, since he is epileptic, it's a combination of burning the candle at both ends and sleeping poorly. And there was also some bad nutrition, other things in there, I think, for him. And he's changed a lot of that stuff, which is fantastic. And he's seen the frequency of his seizures go down, which is great. But I can see it in his eyes when he hasn't slept. And it always makes me feel a little uncomfortable because I keep an eye on it, right? When Brock started taking REM sleep, And this is, this is how it comes to your house. You get one of the formulas. This is the REM sleep. And this uses calming herbs, amino acids, and minerals, including metformin, L-theanine, and magnesium to help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and sleep deeply, right? You're not getting drugs in this. You're getting things at work, proven supplements at work. But what Healthy Cell does is they put them in these cute packets, microgels. That's what they call them, little microgels. So maybe a half hour before you want to go to bed, you just peel that off, suck it in, 165% more absorbed into your body. There you go. Bada bing. And you feel it. And I didn't connect the dots with aging, that your stomach acid changes. I would imagine your pH and what have you changes over time. And so when you take supplements in pill form, you can have problems getting it to digest in your gut. And so you end up pooping it out, which is less than, might as well just flush your money down the drain, right? So that's what's great about microgels, is that they've studied this, and the gel gets digested much more easily. And so the absorption rate is superior. So if you're going to take a supplement, whether it's Focus and Recall, which I love, or it's REM Sleep that he loves, you might as well get your money's worth. That's the microgel. That's Healthy Cell. HealthyCell.com/Wendy. HealthyCell.com/Wendy. I love good news today. It's not the greatest radio one because it's cute to watch, but
get the picture.
The guy who, it's a very sweet story of a little 4-year-old riding his bicycle, his little itty bitty bike, in this guy's driveway, because it's a great big driveway, and it triggered his alarms, like his cameras. So his home security was like beep, 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 beep. And he would look and see what's the intruder, and it's this little boy. And so he started making this like different routes for the kid to travel. And then he started investigating like really well-known race courses. And he started writing them down. It was just, it's so cute how a child can, I don't know, affect the kind side in us, I thought it was sweet. Kids have been Friday, gotta love it. Well, it's not looking good for the DNC. I mean, as much as a wizard as Ken Martin is. Have you noticed that the people who are like the leaders of this party are horrible speakers? Hakeem Jeffries, does everybody want to throat punch him and throw him down the stairs? He's almost impossible to listen to. I can't. Jasmine Crockett talks all street and all that. It's so unbecoming. It's so below the IQ of the American people. And then there's the DNC, led by Ken Martin. And they decided, you know what, they're not flush with cash. I forget how much they spent on Kamala. What did she blow through, Brock? Do we remember?
Wasn't like over $1 billion, like 1.3 billion or something like that?
Do you need any more proof that never, let me say that more clearly, never do you want to give money to Democrats? They don't know how to spend it the right way. Cash-strapped DNC takes on $15 million in loans. Oh my!
The funny thing about this is, and I don't know if you saw it in that story, is that this Ken Martin was brought on because he was a fundraiser.
Well, how's that working for you?
So I guess he fundraised the banks?
Well, that's what we did. The Democratic National Committee took out a $15 million loan in October, according to new filings with the Federal Election Commission. The National Party Committee framed the line of credit as an early investment to boost its candidates in New Jersey and Virginia earlier this month. So wait a minute. They're paying off with a loan. Isn't this like Wimpy on Popeye? Like, I'll gladly pay you Thursday for a hamburger today, right? That's what Ken Martin's doing. He's like, look, we really need to win Virginia. We really got to hook up New Jersey, right? So we're going to spend a bunch of money we don't have, and then we're going to take loans to pay off the stuff that we didn't have before. Okay, that's going to work great. Meantime, the GOP is sitting on $86 million, the Republican National Committee. Okay, whatever. I mean, we can't win elections or fight back against Trump if the DNC downsizes operations like it often does after a presidential cycle, Martin said. So they've got no U.S. aid. They've got no what else? Act Blue? You got Sam Bankman-Fried. He's in the clink. Right? Who's giving money? Bill Gates is like, oh, snap. I'm all over that damn travel log. I can't be giving money right now. I need to sit on my money. George Soros is worrying about his eye bags, whatever the hell he's
Jeffrey
worried about.
Epstein's dead.
Jeffrey Epstein, we're told, is dead. I don't believe that even anymore. Who knows what we believe? Anyway, so this is pretty funny. And then they got Zoran Mamdani, right? He's going to the White House today. He's meeting with Trump. He wants to put his foot down. Don't you dare think you're going to be able to deport anybody in my New York City. Trump's like, okay. But this is what Trump puts out on Truth Social last night. Communist mayor of New York City, Zoran Kwame Mamdani, has asked for a meeting. We have agreed that this meeting will take place at the Oval Office on Friday, November 21st. Further details to follow. There you go. So I want you to hear Scott Jennings. Scott Jennings had an interesting soundbite, basically saying, good luck with that meeting, Zoran. Here we go.
Meeting with Trump and Mamdani.
Well, I'm glad Mayor-elect Mamdani is going because he's never had a job before. So Trump is going to have an opportunity now to explain to him how the world works. Number one, you're not going to be arresting Prime Minister Netanyahu when he comes to New York City. So you can put that out of your mind. Yeah. Number two, you need to cooperate with federal law enforcement and federal immigration when we come into the city to try to enforce existing federal immigration law. So you need to put that out of your mind as well. I hope the president explains to him how the world works. We have federal laws and we have international diplomacy, and those things are handled by the president, not the mayor of New York City.
I think things are getting kind of hot. I think it's getting hot in here, right? Their funding has dried up. Their people are socialists, communists. All of the graphs, all of this stuff, the fundraising side of this, though, is critical. The only reason the DNC needs to take out a $15 million loan is because nobody's donating money. They're not giving. Do you think they were giving before? Do you think, Stella Sweisman in North Dakota was giving Act Blue $150 a day, every day for the last 5 years? Because that's what Act Blue says she was doing. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, about that. Maybe that's not what was going on. Maybe we're getting some foreign money in. Maybe we got donors like George Soros. Maybe these people aren't doing the typical protocol, but they've got lots of pockets. Well, we're going to create these straw donors. We're going to create the illusion that this is all on the up and up. This is exactly what happened in Oakland, California, right? This is exactly what's going on with Rob Bonta, the Attorney General of California. I guess it's part of what the party does. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's get America working again. Got some great job numbers, but we got more than that. We got promise. We've got a golden age. We've got a reason to smile. And I'm going to drop it on you next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
We know the dongs aren't giving as much.
Oh my God, the dongs. Honestly, you couldn't
It's
make
hard
that up.
on them.
You get duck.
It's hard on the Democrat parties when the dongs aren't giving.
Dongs. It's so stupid. I mean, like
Scott Wiener's campaign went flaccid.
It's too easy. Stop it. Make us have to work for it, for heaven's sakes. Oh my goodness. It's so bad. You were funny
I
yesterday.
bet you Scott Wiener got beat on as a kid.
You cracked me up yesterday because I was reading that story about the dongs. I could hear you laugh.
That's
through
nice,
the glass, and I was like, no.
That's the nice thing about having a
No.
juvenile sense of humor.
Oh my goodness. It doesn't even have to be juvenile. It's what everybody is laughing at because it's all so freaking stupid. So here we're going to do CNBC. We're going to do Kevin Hassett. We're going to do Scott Bessent.
In that order?
And Hakeem, yes. And then we'll throw in some Hakeem so everybody's a little bit dumber.
Again.
We're going to do CNBC, Kevin Hassett, Scott Bessent, Hakeem Jeffries.
Oh, that's the order I had.
I have to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
There will be a pet show tomorrow, 10 a.m. Next week we will be off for Thanksgiving. So if you have some questions you want to get in, it's best to ask on Rumble. When I say best, easiest on me. But you can also email me, wbrbrock@gmail.com, wbrbrock@gmail.com. I mean, the jokes just write themselves at some point. Like I mean, you get Donald Trump, you can make fun of his hair or his bad tan. But the Democrats, I'm wondering if he'll let the press in when Mondami's there. And he'll just embarrass them right in front of the camera. And CNN is going to have to cover it because Mondami's their boy. Democrats are they're going to have to take it if it's Trump and Mondami. I think he'll embarrass them, and I hope to hell they do it live. Do you think he'll invite Mondami, the press in when Mondami's there in the Oval?
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I think he would want everyone to see. I just thought it was funny. Communist mayor of New York City, Zoran Kwame Mamdani, has asked for a meeting. Yeah, we have 4 clips of sound here. I'm going to have to get through this quick. So I've got quickly. Let's see. I've got CNBC. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What'd you say?
I cannot be held responsible.
Why don't you proofread one of something?
I got an onslaught of sound this morning.
Really?
At the last minute.
The last minute was before 5 a.m.
Let me just say that I'm going to tell a quick one that you wouldn't probably tell on the air. Did you hear about Monica Lewinsky telling her girlfriend about her internship at the White House? She told her sometimes the job just blows. Just think if she interned for the Dongs. Or the head of Scott Wiener's campaign.
The Dongs?
The Dongs.
Who do you work for? The Dongs.
The Dongs.
That long duck
They like
dong.
they like to give back.
In 16 Candles, long duck dong is the like grandma who's smoking with the big ash as she's cooking dinner, and the other grandma's got her spatula trying to catch the ash. She's cooking breakfast. Oh my God, it's a freaking brilliant show. I have to watch that show again.
CNBC has it. Best in Hakeem. Okay. Oh, Dick. Durbin.
Oh, Dick.
Bag of Wongs.
Oh my goodness, that is just so funny. Can we get to 3-5? We're at 3-2-7. Hey, Rumble. Bell radio program. We got good news, bad jokes on tap, but I've got lots I got to talk to you about real fast first. 2.5 million native-born Americans gained employment. 670,000 foreign-born workers lost employment. 3.4 million native-born Americans joined the labor force, and 708,000 foreign-born workers left the labor force. All job gains that have come out about September, it's always 3 months past, right? All of the information that we know about the job gains that we just heard have gone to native-born workers. Because you know what? That's nice to know. Under Joe Biden, all of the jobs were government jobs. It wasn't private sector jobs. It wasn't manufacturing jobs. It was growing up, creating a monster bureaucracy. And who gains the most? Foreign-born workers. Not you. Not you. Here's CNBC looking at these job numbers from September, showing immigrants are leaving the labor force, participation ticking up for American-born. Listen.
This is the September jobs report. Non-farm payrolls are up a robust 119,000. 119,000 would be the best since April, when we were up 158,000. If we look at labor force participation rate, it ticked up. That's a good thing. 62.4 equals where we were in May. You have to go to April of this year when it was 62.6 to find a higher number. If we look at the hours worked, and this is always important, it remains at 34.2. To find a lower number, you're going to January when it was 34.1. We have initial jobless claims. This is for the week of November 15th. As I said, there's weeks missing. We're expecting 227,000. Comes in at 220,000. These numbers do not reflect nervousness in the labor market. They've been very well behaved. 220,000 would be the lowest level of claims since mid-July.
It doesn't change overnight. It is on the right path. And you've got the National Economic Council Director, Kevin Hassett, who says this. He's like, look, nearly a dozen companies are breaking ground in the U.S. using American labor. Now, it's only been a couple months since Trump he traveled all around the world, and he got $21 trillion in contracts back. $21 trillion in investment. That doesn't happen tomorrow. But already, Kevin Hassett says, we're seeing about a dozen companies breaking ground in the United States, and they're using American labor.
September numbers were absolutely hit out of the park. As you said, a double is very rare. But if you dig down into the details, there's actually proof in the pudding that President Trump's policies are really working. And here's what it is, that there was a big surge in construction workers. And we went back and traced it back to, because remember, President Trump said we're going to expense new factory construction. In September, we counted 11 major companies that broke ground on new factories and hired those construction workers. And the reason why that's so positive is that those factories are going to fill up with new workers and start making stuff and so on. And so President Trump's policy of onshoring production, creating great jobs for American workers was really, really visible in this report. And of course, it shocked experts because they've been naysayers about the president's policy all along.
Oh, this is an interesting comment. I'm at the Center for Immigration Studies.com. I know this is my sexy morning reading. And it has all these takeaways of the labor force, et cetera, immigration's effect on it. They say we estimate that 10.8 million illegal immigrants worked in the January 2025 jobs data. According for some 6.7% of all workers, illegal immigrants in particular are heavily concentrated in lower skilled, lower paid jobs, typically done by those without a bachelor's degree. Now, listen to this. The rapid rise in immigrant workers has coincided with a significant increase in the share of U.S.-born, 16 to 64 years old men, without a bachelor's degree, not in the labor force. Great replacement, ladies and gentlemen. Take your American-born 18, 16 to 64-year-old men and basically chuck them. You don't have a college degree? Okay, see you later. We're going to bring a bunch of people in from foreign countries. Yes. How many people are no longer looking for jobs in that group who are neither working nor looking? It went from 20.3% in 2000. It's now 28%. More than 1 in 4 men without college degrees aren't even looking. That's the problem. I want you to hear Scott Bessent. He holds something up. He's like, look, manufacturing, important stuff is coming back to America, and just wait, it's coming.
First rare earth magnet made in the United States in 25 years. It was made at a plant in Sumter, South Carolina, 800 construction jobs, 300 factory jobs, and the plant manager said that they could be going up to 3,000 jobs. And Laura, the great story there is many of those were laid off Caterpillar workers. But so I am very optimistic about the first, second, and accelerating into the third quarter in terms of growth. But I think what's important here, Laura, is we are going back to Trump-style growth, which is high growth, low inflation, which is just the opposite of the Biden years.
What do you do when you create a peace plan between Ukraine and Russia where America gets benefits of natural resources from both countries because it will work with both of those countries to develop them and everybody can benefit? Yeah, that's Trump. Resist. I hate him. I don't get it. Here's Hakeem Jeffries. I just wanted you to remind you, you could be dumber. And you will be after you hear this. He's drawing an analogy between home ownership and climate change. You can't make it up. They're trying to keep any grift alive.
Home ownership has become unaffordable in far too many places, ripping away the possibility of home ownership for millions of Americans. And we know that home ownership has always been central to the great American dream. And so it's incredibly important that we deal with the climate crisis because there is only one Earth. There is no planet B. We have no other option. We have to deal with protecting God's green Earth. But we also should deal with the climate crisis because the absence of doing it causes life in America to just continue to become more unaffordable.
I don't know if we need to try to Venn diagram that for Kamala, because to be perfectly honest with you, I have no idea what he just said. He just said to you, oh, snap. The DNC just had to borrow $15 million because Kamala is a twit. She blew it all and sucks. And nobody wanted her, right? We've got Act Blue. They're not giving to us anymore. All of these various things are being exposed. We got the Somalis. We got the Muslims. We've got what's going on in California. We've got ICE raids in other places where clearly there's criminal activity that we're breaking up, and the Democrats might be benefiting from it because they don't want it to stop. The only thing we have left. Hurry. Get out the old drum. because I'm about to beat it. It's all about saving the planet. It's all about climate change. That has to do with you affording a house. Okay. Or maybe it's because life under Democrats is punishingly unavoidable and unaffordable, I should say. That's the reason, Hakeem. It's not climate change. And by the way you talk with your hands is really annoying. Anyhow, if there's been a day that we deserve it, don't give to our climate initiatives. We're saving the planet. This is one of those stories that you deserve. Steve Hartman takes us on the road. He's in Salt Lake City, where a gentleman has his security cameras outside his house triggered. And he's surprised. Love it. I love it. It's still out there, ladies and gentlemen. We haven't lost the secret sauce yet. How about some bad jokes? You've come this far. Why ever would you leave? It's next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Me likes that. You know why? Do you know who that man reminds me of? The guy who drew the stuff on the pavement?
Who?
Rick Grinnell. He has the same mannerisms, like the way he talks, and I love Rick Grinnell. He's the guy who started this. If you need to know the truth, he is the guy. Yes, Brock, or no?
The idea was planted, but we saw the writing on the wall. But yeah, he was the one saying, just do it yourself. And sometimes hearing someone not involved and not part of it.
That was literally it for me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, well,
that's not how it's always. It's typically the response from people is because a lot of people don't want to see other people succeed. For some reason,
which is weird.
For some reason, people take other people's success as their failure instead of saying, I'm happy for you.
Yeah, good for you.
He just, so you always hear, that's not how it's done.
Right.
And here was Rick Grinnell saying,
he's like, just do it yourself.
Just do it yourself. And you're like, you know what? Why can't I?
I'm a woman. I can do anything. All right, I have to take these out and listen. I'll be right back.
I did not pre-read them. I should probably do that too. All right, we need 110 rumbles. We're 339. Can we get the 35 today? It'll make the 75K more while she's not listening, more better. And you guys are welcome. We cut that Hakeem Jeffries. That idiot doesn't realize that part of the unaffordability is the Green New Act or the Green New Deal or whatever it's called. And on top of that, deport 20 million immigrants, illegal immigrants, and the housing shortage won't be such a shortage anymore. It's simple math. It's simple logic to say, wow, if we don't have to house all these people, there'll be more houses. Oh boy. Some of these are dumb. They're real dumb. Are yours dumb?
No,
Oh, some of mine are.
they're cute.
Got a lot of repeats this week. Ones that we've had.
Then don't
before.
read them.
I didn't put them in.
Oh, okay.
The ones I did.
Our program for the week, and you know what that means, my friends. The best parts.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just flew in from New York, and boy, my arm's tired. I'm joking, of course. Anywho, welcome to the Comedy Club. Won't you give it up to Wendy and Brock for Bad Joke Friday?
Here's Dr. Richard Rafferty's joke from the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh. Frank is kind of hard of hearing. He recently bought a new hearing aid. He's so happy with his new hearing aid that when he sees his friend Joe, he's got to tell him all about it. He says, Joe, I just got a new hearing aid. It's opened up a whole new world for me. I can hear a pin drop on the carpet in the next room. Everything's coming in loud and clear. Joe responds, Frank, that sounds great. What kind is it? Frank looks at his watch and says, about 4:15.
I thought you said some of them weren't dumb.
I didn't say that one wasn't dumb.
In some countries, women can't drive or vote. I mean, I try to teach them.
Oh my gosh. What's the difference between a poorly dressed man on a tricycle and a well-dressed man on a bicycle? Attire.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Why are louder bullets better for deer hunting?
Why?
You get more bang for your buck.
Why do birds fly south for the winter? It's faster than walking.
Well, bad jokes. What did the mother turkey say to her disobedient children? If your father could see you now, he'd be turning over in his gravy.
Oh, jeez. That's awful. I'm having a funeral for the death of the penny. Right now, it's a memorial. Makes no sense.
That's
actually you're so dumb.
My dog
Oh my
lost
God.
its tail in an accident. He's okay. I took him to the retail store.
Why did they stop a zombie hockey game? There was a face-off in the corner.
I don't get it.
Face-off, zombies. Okay.
Do you know what my grandpa's last words were before he kicked the bucket?
No.
I wonder how far I can kick this bucket.
What do you get a dentist as a gift? Little plaque. So gross.
Bad
So
too.
gross.
Someone stole my antidepressants the other day.
Oh no.
Hey, wherever they are, I hope they're happy.
My old high school teacher said I would never be good at poetry because of my dyslexia. I mean, she was totally wrong though. Like I took a class and so far I've made 2 bowls, a vase, and 3 ashtrays. Poetry, pottery.
Oh, I didn't get it.
Wow.
Why don't blind people skydive? Scares the crap out of their dog.
The king wanted to go fishing and he asked his royal weather forecaster, the forecaster for the next few hours. A palace meteorologist assured him there was no chance of rain. So the king and queen went fishing, and on the way he met a man with a fishing pole riding on a donkey. He asked the man if the fish were biting. Fisherman says, Your Majesty, you should return to the palace. In just a short time, I expect a huge rainstorm. The king replied, I hold the palace meteorologist in high regard. He's an educated and experienced professional. Besides, I pay him very high wages. He gave me a very different forecast. I trust him. So the king continued on his way. Of course, in a short time, torrential rain fell from the sky. The king and queen were totally soaked. Furious, the king returned to the palace and gave the order to fire the meteorologist. And then he summoned the fisherman and offered him the prestigious position of royal forecaster. The fisherman said, Your Majesty, I don't know anything about forecasting. I get my information from my donkey. If I see my donkey's ears drooping, it means with certainty that it will rain. And so the king hired the donkey. And thus began the practice of hiring dumbasses to work to work in influential positions of government. The practice is unbroken to this date.
That's the winner for today. Finally went on a date. Everything was great till she asked me boxers or briefs. I said, depends. And she left.
Oh my gosh. Depends. I got hired at the thermometer factory. It's just temp work.
My boss said, you're the worst train driver ever. How many you derailed this year?
Oh.
I said, I'm not sure. It's hard to keep track.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Never pick a fight with a bench warmer. They don't play. I know.
I threw a boomerang a few years ago. I now live in constant fear.
Yes. I was dating a homeless woman. Things started getting serious, and she asked me to move out with her.
I told my psychiatrist that I've been hearing voices. He told me that I don't have a psychiatrist.
Wow. A doctor walks into a room with a dying patient and tells him, I'm sorry, but you only have 10 left. And the patient asks him, 10 what, doc? Hours? Days? Weeks? What is it? The doctor calmly looks at him and says, 9.
Why is it that you donate 1 kidney?
Oh.
People love you.
Yes.
But if you donate 5 kidneys, they call the police.
Oh my goodness. My wife asked me why I didn't treat her like I used to when we were dating. So I took her to dinner and a movie and dropped her off at her parents' house. There you go. It's been a great week, you guys. We will see you Monday. Remember, we're here on Thanksgiving, so make note of that. Take care, guys. Peace.